Hi, Josh.
Josh, you wearing what it do, boo?
True. I dig your weirdness. I want some more of it. I want to see more of it. I want to feel more of it.
Oh my god.
Welcome to the Josh Wearing podcast. We appreciate you listening. Merci.
Popping it in, I'm going all in. Talking about me when she with her friends. Said when she with me, she loving that shit. When she with me, can't get enough of it. Popping it in, I'm going all in. Talking about me when she with her friends. Said when she with me, she loving that shit. Shorty got me brainless. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. And I don't understand it. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. Shorty got me brainless. Hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah, hey yeah. And I don't understand it. Hey yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys, welcome to another live episode of SMV Dating. We have an amazing show in store for everyone. And just a reminder for all those who are aware, men or women, right, that summer season is approaching. So if you want some extra sessions in the gym, you got to hit up my boy KG. His link is in the description. Virtual training available, and the spots are, they're loading up quickly. So you might want to snag a session because it will change your life. KG has that effect on people, so you might want to do that. But without further ado, let's introduce our esteemed panel. Of course, we have Big Mike in the building. How you doing, sir?
Yo, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Like, apparently, you did a Banks and muted yourself.
I know. My fault.
You're in pro StreamYard now, and we have brother Lew in the building. What up, Lew?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, Lou? How you, bro?
What's going on, Big Mike? That's an ill intro over there, Josh. That intro is ill, bro.
Yeah, pretty dope. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And Lew, every time, because I can see everyone backstage, and Lew, every time I play the intro, Lew absolutely loves this intro.
Hilarious.
Absolutely. Okay, so KG is going to join us in a minute.
Cool.
And we can just get right into it. So first, we're going to be talking about the double standards when it comes to dating. So I thought to, structure this, because I feel like that is in our nature as men, right, to logically structure things for the best conversation possible in this context, right? I think dating value usually comes to appearance, communication, and career. And we're going to see the double standards of how it applies to men and women in those three facets.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, I'm going to play a little meme to, take out the tension in the air.
I'm insecure about my body and the way I look.
You're short, you're fat, you're ugly, you need to get in the gym, you're trash.
I'm insecure about my body and the way I look.
Whoa, you're a queen, you're beautiful, you're perfect, don't let anyone tell you different.
Now, am I the only one? Whenever I witness and experience this double standard, I'm just like, wait, really? Appearance. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead, Lou.
Well, as we always say, appearance is a woman's thing, right? So kind of get it that there's a double standard. If you look at a man is, we kind of plain, we just kind of straightforward, but women is that's the meal ticket, that's kind of, they always gotta, no matter what age, they gotta upkeep that, they gotta be on appearance, and like I said, we always say they get bombarded all day with appearance and how they look from this one, so they got it rough, man. They got it rough.
What do you think, Big Mike?
Man, that's fair. I think that though there is a double standard, and the guy kind of, was showing that, especially when it comes to, It's all about preference, first of all, number one. And sometimes guys are not allowed to have a preference without feeling like, we're doing some sort of a shaming and stuff like that, where women are. And that's where the double standard comes in place and stuff like that. So, like the guy says something, or it could be whatever, you're short or grow a beard or whatever it can be, possibly whatever like that. And I think that, sometimes that, the other way around, it's more motivational. Like the guy said, you're a queen, you're beautiful, you're whatever, you don't need to do anything. Where on the other side, a guy is like, yeah, bro, you need to go take care of that. So I think double standards aren't always necessarily negative though at all, but they do exist. So the problem is that people don't want to acknowledge they exist when they do, to me.
Absolutely, because when you acknowledge they exist, then you have the responsibility to make a logical decision based upon that. However, when you have the inability to address those double standards, then sometimes those who are more prone to emotion are able to react with an emotion and not actually address that issue. And we have brother KG in the building. What up, KG?
Yo, what's going on?
KG, been a minute, brother. What's good, man?
Been a little bit too long. What's going on with you, Big Mike?
Man, I can't complain, man. You see, you looking good over there. Whatever.
Maintaining, man. My brother Lew, what's going on with it?
See what's up, boy.
All right, yo, I joined in a little bit late, fellas, and I didn't catch up. Where you guys leave off at? Sorry to fall in late.
Oh yeah, no worries. So we were just getting into double standards and how they impact men and women specifically in dating, right? So of course, I had to break it down into 3 sections, basically. One of which, yeah, right. One of which being appearance, one of which being communication, and one of which being career. I feel like this is in the modern dating sphere. This is how people usually equate their value or their SMV in the marketplace.
So we got appearance, communication, and what was the other one?
Career.
And the double standards that go along with those.
Right. And we were on appearance now.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Well, why don't you play him the meme, Josh? This is only like 10 seconds anyway.
I'm insecure about my body and the way I look.
You're short, you're fat, you're ugly, you need to get in the gym, you're trash.
I'm insecure about my body and the way I look.
Whoa, you're a queen, you're beautiful, you're perfect. Don't let anyone tell you different.
And before you get into that, KG, and we definitely want your personal opinion as a professional trainer, right? And especially got to shout out Miss Annette here. So shout out to Miss Annette in the chat. And she asked, what about character? That's a great one as well. But I would actually put that in the communication aspect, because I feel like only a person who has an upstanding character would be a gentleman or a lady if they're able to communicate that and convey that naturally, but also being able to articulate that with how they interact with the world. But that's just me. But go ahead, KG.
Shit, man. Well, I'll be honest, I can't disagree with the meme. Like, that's pretty much. So it's like, let's say a dude is lacking essentially confidence. That's what he was lacking, right? So if he's lacking confidence, he's not comfortable in his skin for whatever the reason is. The general feedback that he would get is, just get it together. You know what I mean? You got to boss up. You a man, you got to figure it out. Whereas for a woman, there is a lot more coddling and hand holding and nurturing, like trying to help build her self-esteem from within, not forcing her to do it on her own. So yeah, I think that's a blatant double standard. I think there's a lot, but I don't think anybody could argue with that. I think you may see individuals like, well, people have told me, separately, this or the third. Nobody cares. Like at the end of the day, as a whole, that is the message. I don't have much to add. I can't disagree with that at all.
Absolutely. And I think the worst part about that is that when you coddle someone, you're actually giving them an inaccurate representation of the world. So for lack of better words, you could be altering their perception. And in some contexts, you actually might be lying to their face in order to maintain their facade. And when you look at the landscape of dating and how things are, it's just like, if you continue on this path, if you continue lying to women, right, and then creating their delusions that we see come into fruition when interacting with people like Kevin Samuels, then it's like, okay, we can't continue like this, because you actually have to face reality. And we're going to get to it later when we talk about career, especially as men being the providers, right? So we're judged differently. Our value in society is different because men and women are not equal.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, did you guys already chime in on this?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that you make good points, man. And, at the end of the day, it ends up spinning back to us in a sense that, like if we don't, how about this? Men and women are not equal, right? So some of the double standards that exist make sense, right?
I said that.
Right. So I didn't really give this much thought prior to it at all. So thinking about it now, it's like, all right, so a man is supposed to man up. Like, bro, you need to be independent. You need to establish your sense of self. You need to have a stronger will and character. You need to develop your self-esteem, period. That's it. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You need to find out who you are. This is a fact, though, right? Does that mean that women shouldn't do that? No, women should do that, right? But I think that women do it in a different way. Like, I've never met a woman that didn't need a little guidance, right? So if you have your woman, then you help build that, but at the same time, you're teaching her, right? You know what I'm saying? The sun shines on the earth. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? So not to make it much bigger than it is, but I still can't disagree with it, but we're not the same. And there's a lot of double standards that actually make sense. A lot of them are stupid, but some of them make sense. And in this one, it just flat out makes sense, man. Like, yeah, boss up, bro. Like, do better. Am I wrong?
But that's the thing, though. But see, that's the thing, though, that society kind of puts us in that little position, right? For us to man up, right? So at the end of the day, when you look at certain rates, like if you go to a homeless shelter, they're gonna take the children and the wife. And the man's basically on his own, right?
Right.
If you look at homicide rates, right? So we the most likely to get killed in the street. So all these statistics, suicide, that's us.
Right.
So that man up philosophy is what leads to a lot of those problems that we already have, right? So it's definitely a double standard. I guess we're not really talking about the morality of it. We're talking about if it exists or not. But those are the things that like lead us to not being able to express ourselves. Like we don't have like a support system. Like you see how they say like, hey queen, like we ain't got no way, like, all right, kid, you know what I'm saying? But if we ever started doing that and we realized the power of actually doing that, we might better for everybody.
Well, one, I think that everybody on this panel, I assume that everybody could agree that as you get older, right, as you start to age, you really come into your own. You don't have a lot of friends. You don't have a lot of pockets where you express your true self, right? So that's why the brothers that are your brothers, you care about those relationships, right? And I personally, I don't have a whole lot of friends. I mean, these are my brothers, people who I talk to. I could talk about whatever with, right? That's me, and I appreciate those relationships. But you're right. For the most part, that's not a general thing, right? But I think that as a man, my personal opinion is that I don't think that that's a benefit. You know what I mean? If you're going around taking advice and asking everybody's opinion and getting everybody's feedback about what you should do, what you shouldn't do, that's what a lot of women do. Like, should I get my hair this way, or should I buy this car, or should I wear this, or I like him, should he like me back? Is this the type of woman? I think that as men, we kind of push ourselves to be our own planet. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that is strength. As men, we understand strength. If you talk to a man that's weak, that's not really going to be a relationship that you would respect and nurture and care about. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs you for something. if you're gonna be friends, that's usually a very one-sided relationship, right? Because he needs to learn how to stand on his own. But your point about morality, you bring up a good point. But I always thought to myself, like, morality is so relative. You know what I mean? Because the things that were moral 100 years ago are unspeakable now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna change as we go. We always think we're the smartest for the time that we're alive. You don't know. You know what I mean? They did some wild, crazy, ridiculous stuff. And if we look at how we express ourselves, the relationships that we have, even this platform in itself, 20, 30 years ago, men weren't talking like this, bro. It's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? So I understand where you're coming from in the sense that it impacts us differently. But my take on it is that to a certain extent, it's like, this the only life I know, so I embrace it. You know what I mean? Because other than that, I don't, like, who would I be if I didn't just run towards my strength?
On the other side of the cage, I got a question. So, like, and something like that meme we just said, when it comes to a woman, because you're a trainer, do you, let's say, coddle them more, like you're a queen, blah blah blah, or do you try to push them the same way you push men? Whatnot.
Fuck out of here. Listen, yo, you train with me. First of all, let me excuse my language. First of all, like, I don't just train anybody, male or female. Like, my I realized that you can't really run a successful business if you're constantly trading your time for money, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to give you my time and my energy, I'm gonna make sure it's worth it. I'm gonna make sure you mean what you're coming here for. I don't coddle anybody, bro. I think GYST, that's something that I say all the time. GYST. Just get your shit together. You know what I mean? Like, yo, don't come in with that. Look, this is what we got. Some people complain when they train, and that's okay. But I'm gonna talk to my male clients the same way I talk to my female clients, because that's just gonna put me at a disadvantage. You know what I'm saying? Like, my word, how much do I mean what I say if I'm inconsistent? But I think that that's a bad example only because that's my business, bro. Like, that's not my personal approach to things.
Okay, so personally, you might have that double standard then, the way you talk to each and gender, I guess. Or no?
Yeah, I mean, I talk to my mother differently than I talk to my father.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Well, I said before, I said they do exist. I said they're all not bad, but I think the problem is where Josh came from. Sometimes we refuse to acknowledge they exist at all, especially, each gender individually and stuff like that. So
I think when we circle to communication, I think that really will be like the separation, right? Because I've said it before, like, men are contextual, right? We exchange information like facts, times, dates. This is what it should be. This is what we're gonna do next. Whereas women are very relational in their communication, right? What did they feel about it? How did it? What kind of space did they put them in? Like, I said this, yeah, but you said it in a way that made me feel like this. Like,
yep.
The fuck? So I think that when we start to dig into that, we'll start to really see some double standards that are blatant and should be abolished, but they're accepted. And I think that will play more in the Lew's point. Like, some of this shit is nonsense.
Wait, what's part about the the homeless shelter? I mean, I guess that's been the standard, right, since the beginning of time. Women and children go first, even going back to the Titanic, right? Women and children off the boat first, then the guys can go, right? Blah blah blah. So I feel like it's always been that way, and I never thought about it like that, Lew. Like the morality aspect of it, honestly. So.
Yeah, it's a double standard because we basically looked at as tools, you know what I'm saying, in the society, as we're like kind of dispensable in a way. So that's also the double standard of it as well. Like, just the overall aspect of how we're seen in general. You see what I'm saying? Especially with these movements now, like, you know what I'm saying, like Me Too movement and all this toxic stuff. So it's kind of like that's double too, because now you see women doing a lot of the stuff that they said that we used to do, right? So it hit me the other day, like, so what is a cougar? A cougar is nothing but the same thing as an old man that also goes after young women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a cougar is the same thing, but listen to the name they get. They get a cougar. Well, we get creep. You see what I'm saying? So they get like an empowerment thing. Like, yeah, you could get you a young man. That's hot. If we get a young woman, it's like, he's some type of pedophile or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely double standards is real, like KG said.
I agree.
Yeah, a lot of the double standards, like I said, they're legit. But some of them don't really make sense. You know, to your point, like I don't know, man. Like I try not to give my opinion about the older, younger thing. Like regardless, male, female, shit's weird to me. But you know what I mean, I just try to leave it alone. Like if I don't understand something, I can't make sense of it. I just like, well, I don't do it, so it's your own. But yeah. Double standards is motherfucker, man. I guess I started thinking about it, like Lou said, like, you know, like how would you feel if, like, I don't like to be gassed, like, you know what I mean? Don't put 10 on 5 when you're talking to me. Like, I feel like you're lying to me. I'm like, oh man, like, you know, you ever hear girls talk and they're like, oh nah, you the shit, you queen, you look this and that, oh, you amazing, oh my God, da, da, da. Like, yo, that would irritate me if I had somebody talking to me like that. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, they're lying to you, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, by lying, I mean like when you sugarcoated, the message is diluted, and that's what I mean. Not necessarily that they don't look the way that they're saying, or however you want to put it, but that's my takeaway. Like, I think that we would rather deal with direct honesty rather than not, right?
Absolutely, because this is detrimental for communities. That's the part that makes me feel like, damn, like, okay, what are the social ramifications of these realities? And that's usually broken homes and then things on up the ladder that stem from that, unfortunately. And it's not necessarily up the ladder in society, and it's designed that way. And we all know and perceive this. So that's why I always get confused when actions like that happen, knowing where we are in our situation. But again, that's just me.
Yo, real quick before you move on to the next topic, the comment about the Titanic, it made me think this, like, so if you in your house, you got your girl or your lady, let's say you got kids or whatever, somebody breaking into your house, right? Y'all all hear it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my head, as the man, you're supposed to protect. Like right away, instinctually, you're gonna sacrifice your safety for theirs, right?
Yes.
So I feel like when we look at humans, like the way that we're built, we are built this way, and it makes sense that we are the protectors. We're bigger, we're stronger. In most cases, we're bigger, stronger, faster. You're more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So we are the protector. And then that comes with responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So women are natural nurturers. That also comes with responsibility. So if you're there with your family, like, yo, it's only room for a boat, and the boat is gonna make it to the land. You there, you got your girl and you got your kids. Be like, yo, I'm gonna get on the boat and I'm gonna try to send it back for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Like, I guess in my mind, I think like, yo, like you do it instinctually, like, yo, you take care of them. Like,
that's what it is, instinctually, right? It's built in us, but it comes from generation after generation and whatnot. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with it. It just exists and whatever, you know what I mean? But it's something that I guess is embedded in us as men, you know what I mean? Like you said, sacrifice yourself first. Let them go first. You know, if it's only a little bit of food, you eat or whatever. I'll figure it out later on and stuff like that. Like,
it only makes sense when it's your team. You follow what I'm saying? That's when the double standard gets weird. You follow what I'm saying? You on a boat, you're there as a single individual, and there's these two ladies trying to get on this boat. This is the last boat. You don't know them. They're not getting on this boat in my spot, dog. You understand what I'm saying? That's my take on it. I think that everything has to make sense.
But that would still be frowned upon, right? Because they're ladies. And that's where the double standard comes into play.
Yeah, frowned in. You know what I'm saying? I feel you. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes sense until it don't make sense.
All right.
So on a lower level, Do you hold doors for random women?
I do.
I do too, actually. It's instinctual.
I
Hey now, what's the difference between the boat and the door?
my life. So you know what I'm saying? You know, like it makes sense. So for me, like I treat it like an exercise, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's a part of it's a choice that I make. I don't do this because I'm expected, it's a double standard. This is outright my choice to live my life this way. I don't follow a whole lot of regimens that don't make sense, right? I hold the doors because that's my choice. Now, if I'm looking and I go to hold the door and she look like she expects me to hold the door and I don't know if I'm gonna pay, is she gonna walk into the glass? Because again, it's always my choice. I make that decision, not because of the double standard.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm definitely there too. And to answer your question, Brother Lew, I'm also selective for the ladies I hold the door open for. That's just me. In my life, how I live my life as well. So if I know the lady, absolutely. But if I don't, depending on your energy, as KG said, like you can perceive energy before it's people even speak. It is human nature, right? I consider it our sixth sense to perceive those with our subconscious, and intellectually we're able to process it at a rapid rate. I mean, our minds are things that design computers, but we don't think of our minds in this way, which is why I feel like we don't always have that, dedication to what we need to do.
True. So was this developed over time as you entered into this realm of discovering yourself? Or would this have gone down back in the day, right? So with everything going on with the atmosphere, with how the roles have kind of reversed, how women are more masculine, men are more kind of, that's how they trying to push it. We're more feminine than we're supposed to be. So has that developed over time, or do you think back in the day you would have let those two ladies on, or you'd have been more chivalrous than you are now?
That's a wonderful question.
You mean like for us to live back then, or you talking about like
talking about the atmosphere? The atmosphere. I'm not even talking about back then, because I feel as though the change didn't happen though back then. I feel like the change happened around 2003, 4-ish. There was a time back in the 90s when, you know what I'm saying, it was still kind of straightforward. You could, you know what I'm saying, you could still be a man, approach women, could approach men could approach women in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But now in a sense where everything's kind of changed, where you can't even say hello to a woman no more. Did you lose that? I'm gonna hold the door for woman effect? You see what I'm saying? Or did that happen over? Did you just become hardened because of the atmosphere?
I agree with what you're saying. Now listening to you, I see what you mean by the change, but to keep it a buck, I disregard it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still the same. Like if I want to talk to a female, I don't care if she's by herself or with 3 other women. You follow what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I mean by the very first meme is like your self-confidence and independence to be who you are. You know what I mean? That's why we all push each other to, do you. You know what I mean? Me as an individual, yeah, I do think that it is pushed to be a little softer. Don't be so aggressive. Don't be so assertive. Don't be so fast to react. Yeah, I see what you mean, but I use, like with anything else, like I look at it and I take what makes sense for me. You know what I'm saying? Let the sweat dry off and then grab the cannon. So yeah, all right, that makes sense. Maybe I don't need to react so fast right away. Maybe my first reaction shouldn't be aggression. That makes a little bit of sense. But nah, I'm not finna let anyone, like, no, you move to the back. You're supposed to hold the door for me. Bro, I slammed the door in her face. Like, I'm not that either. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's really about balance.
Definitely about balance. And you create that balance intuitively. Your balance isn't anyone else's balance, it's your balance. And that's the main thing that young men need to be, reinforced, that balance is yours.
I think to Lew's point, man, like so in the balance, right? So they push you to be this way, or it's expected, or it is common to try to downplay masculinity, I guess, right? But I think that the part that I never want to get rid of is my aggression. Like that's my superpower. You know what I'm saying? The fact that I can go from being calm and gentle in some settings to being a animal, bro, like completely different person and make people uncomfortable. I like to be able to have that when I walk around. That's what makes me that helps me deal in reality.
I mean, I agree. I think being able to be diverse is key. I feel like I'm the same way and whatnot. I think it's all situational. It's all who you're dealing with, everything you guys have been saying. I don't think it's just one way, even based off, like you said, Lew, the new norms or whatever you want to call it. I think still you have to go by who you're dealing with, what the circumstance is. Like, I don't care about society's new rules. Me personally, I'm the same OG as I've always been. But, you know, there's certain things like KG said that you might think, well, you know what, that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I'm gonna just be who, you know, be Josh knows, I'm be who I am, you know, regardless or whatever.
Oh, so, yeah. I think game recognized game, as KG would say. You feel me?
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely. And let us get to these wonderful comments here. So Annette H. Lartigue says, share this to 7 different groups. Come on, bring it. Appreciate that, boss. And don't typically have the discussions openly. Kudos, which that's very interesting. And that's probably another symptom of things in reality. So that's a great point. Claudius says, women and men speak different languages. Absolutely. Both the way they articulate themselves with their words, obviously their body language, and also their mentality. It's all its own work of art. So this is why we really need to think about it in that logical way as you're developing. This is one of those things.
So we talking about communication now?
Thank you, KG. Appreciate that.
That was a question, but you're welcome, bro. You know
what 1000%. That's next is communication. So, yeah.
So like this is a lot to unpack.
You ain't lying, bro.
It is.
Yo, I will say that I have spent more time talking about how I'm talking about a topic rather than actually discussing the topic more times than not, right? So I don't care what we're talking about. Closing the door. You slam the front door. Your lady, she slammed the front door. And I look, I'm like, yo, why the fuck you slam the door like that? But because I cursed when I said it, she perceives that I said, yo, why you slam the door like that? It's relational, right? So then her response is defensive, and she's like, why are you yelling at me? And immediately I'm like, what are you talking about? Now, nobody's talking about the doors being slammed so that we know moving forward, yo, let's pay attention not to slam the door because it's going to do X, Y, and Z, right? Here we go over here, which could take a whole lot of other turns. Why? Is it a double standard that women are you're expected to talk to a woman a certain type of way? Or is it that men are not supposed to, like, come on, bro, like, talk about like double standards that don't make no sense? I think there's too many in regard to communication. When Chloe says men and women speak different languages, I disagree. I don't think they're speaking different languages. I think that we're not listening, right? We're paying attention to the details and not the point. That's the takeaway. And that's what women do versus what men do, right?
So
in the general.
Go ahead, Mike. Got it.
Oh, I wasn't even okay. No. Go ahead, Luke. You're ready. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, I think I just lost my train of thought. It's I got it. Yeah. So basically, the problem is that it's women look at everything subjectively and men look at it objectively, right? So you have to realize their nature. When you speak to a woman, if you say, "Hi, babes, I went to the store and the first thing she starts thinking is how she goes to the store." You see what I'm saying? So that's where the message gets lost. So you trying to talk to an emotional creature logically, because we just all said that we kind of straightforward, women kind of go around the way. So now you trying to combine this in a conversation. Good luck, right? So now you here telling that, yeah, the red car or whatever, you're talking about the red car. And the very next thing she's going to say is, I don't even like red. And you're like, wait a minute. I wasn't talking about the color. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? So they make everything, they're gonna make it subjective to how it fits into their life to figure out what story you're telling so they can understand what you're saying. In the meantime, you're telling them logically, and they're gonna stop and ask a question and have nothing to do. Now you're throwing off your whole thing. So I think close right, and you're definitely right. We're speaking different languages and we're hearing different languages. So someone's speaking to you in Chinese, but you hear in Spanish. You see what I'm saying? So we're not even really on the same page. And that's why I kind of keep conversations with women to a minimum. It's like what we got to do and what we got to get done. You know what I'm saying? The more you talk to them, the more things are going to get lost in translation.
Yeah, I kind of, it's a combination of all of y'all to me. I kind of agree with KG. I think we speak in the same language. I think we just interpret things differently, kind of to your point. I think that, I mean, you're right about the emotional part as well. I just think that because of that, I think that sometimes men generalize and women take things personally. And it just happens often, you know. So I feel like you might be saying, go ahead.
Big Mike, are you repping Petty Gang right now? Petty
Pendergrass?
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just saying. I think that we might be just talking about a general subject or general thing, and they come back with, oh, so that's how you feel about me, right? Has that happened to you guys before, right? Because it happened to me before and whatnot. And you kind of just like, nah, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about men and women in general and stuff like that. So I feel like, to your point, Lou, maybe speaking less might be the key. I don't know. But I do think that it's the same language, though. They're just taking it or interpreting what you're saying differently. A lot of times that's because they're taking it personally. That's my take on it.
So busted, right? I think that anybody that's trying to work on self-mastery, when they find a weak point in their armor, that's what they focus on getting better at, right? In the general sense. I say that to say that I made a decision to really focus on communicating, right? Because that's really the gateway. Like when you trying to get to women, you want to build with them, whatever, right? You have to be able to use your words. You have to be a wordsmith, and you have to be an excellent listener, right? The reason why I mention that is because I use it as an exercise. Whereas like Lou was like, yo, it's frustrating. So the less I talk to him, the less frustrated I am. I get the perspective, right? Whereas me, I'm like, well, it is frustrating, and it'll continue to be frustrating unless I figure something out, because this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So what I do, I start playing with, I mean, I only speak English. I start playing with my words. You start really figuring out when they say something, you be like, this is what you said. This is what you meant. This is what you said. Is this what you meant? Because you said that. And it starts to be like a sport, so much so as you start to remove the emotion from it. Now it's difficult because sometimes, you know what I mean, they slamming the doors and shit, like it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get where I'm coming from.
Right. I mean, I look at everybody, men, women, whoever's in my life. Like I look at all the communication. It's almost like the book, The Art of War, right? First of all, know your opponent. So everybody I talk to, I have to know how to deliver the message to them to get the response that I'm trying to get in a certain way. So I don't talk to everybody the same exact way. Everybody gets things, you know, it could be the same message, but they're going to get it a different way based off of what I know about them. So even when it comes to my woman, I know I may have to say this a little differently, or maybe not give them all of it, or whatever it's got to be, because I just want to, you know, optimize the best possible, you know, response if I can. That's kind of how I look at it. So.
Absolutely. And Clovis says, exactly. Thank you, Luke, for articulating that for me as well. At Mike, that's how women communicate with each other subliminally. True. So to Luke's point, it's about men and women interpreting the message through a different lens.
But why do that? Like, why don't you just say what you mean? Like, because it's silly. You know what I mean, right? Do you? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes in some instances, yeah, you guys connect, but how can you just go through life like that?
I think it also goes back because like a lot of this stuff that we talk about when it comes to like women and men and all that type of stuff, I think it's all of it is biological, right? So I think it goes, but we always gotta add. I like to always add the biological aspect to things. We're trying to figure out the whys and this and that, and sometimes it's right there in front of our eyes, right? So I think they have to speak a certain way because words could lead to confrontation, right?
Correct.
And
Exactly.
and so as even as men, just like Mike just said, you gotta know who you're talking to sometimes, right? Because the simplest words could lead to confrontation. But sometimes as men, sometimes we gonna say whatever we want to say and be ourselves because at the end of the day, we're not really
concerned about
nervous about competition. But the woman is she's not designed for the competition. So her words gotta be kind of on ice and you gotta kind of decipher what she's saying. And by the time you figure out what she's saying, you can't get mad because it took you so long that you went to the next subject, right? So she just avoided the confrontation altogether. So it's all biological sometimes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the confrontation is the problem with that is you like for the woman anyway. If you living with them, you don't want to have these. You want to be able to work and come home to a peaceful household as much as possible, right? So you don't want to have constant confrontation, especially based off interpreting your words wrong. So I feel like you do have to learn how to say this is how I have to approach this with this particular woman and whatnot. With men, I'm not worried about the confrontation, but what I hate is like I guess a weak or soft dude, and I'm worried about them kind of like taking it personal, yeah, crying about it, stuff like that, or whatever like that. Those are the ones I worry about, not the ones who if somebody gonna take it like hard, all right, cool, we can get there. But the ones who are like, what you know, what I mean, getting their feelings, I can't deal with that. So I'm gonna like talk to them a certain type of way or whatever. So,
yeah, hey, go this band over here. It's a band, right?
Yeah, you called him rubber band man. All right. Claudia says it's just different communication styles. According to social conditioning, women are brought up different.
I agree. I mean, after you with somebody for a while, man, people have patterns, right? So you're gonna know if I say this, she's gonna respond this way. So sometimes I feel like subconsciously we want all the smoke because we know our women. We can say we know how she's gonna respond or whatever like that, but we still want to get this point out and whatnot. So maybe we don't really want it, but I think we do kind of know it's coming and whatnot. So.
I think Chloe like she said is true, like it's accurate. I feel like it takes away accountability, right? If I say, hey, this is how I was raised and I stand on that, how does that make me accountable as a man, right? If a woman say, hey, this is what we're socially conditioned to do, this is how we're brought up, you're your own person. At what point do you decide, hey, you know what? This is how I was raised. I was raised going to church. This shit don't make no sense to me. I'm going to live my life like that. At what point do you decide that you as an individual are going to expire and you should do what you want rather than just go based off of what you were told and what you were taught? I get it, like embrace the life that we know. I'm 100% with that, but that doesn't mean just do it blindly.
I agree with you, KG. I don't talk to women a certain way because how women are brought up. I talk to individuals certain ways because how they individually, take things and whatnot. But I don't do it, but just based off gender alone. Like I don't buy that. I'm kind of with you on that.
I think the best communication, so the best communication when I talk to women is when I'm talking about a topic I want to talk about. So when I say like I speak less, it's because what I've learned from women is like the more you speak, like you said, the more the thing just gets diluted and confused. So I figured out direct conversation, and I'm saying what needs to be done at that moment or whatever, or light conversation. But if you try to get deep into politics and she doesn't watch and she isn't into politics, then you're gonna have a problem. So like Mike said, you gotta also know the person in front of you, right? So You start talking certain things, but then it also goes to like your woman also respecting you as well, right? So the best ones is the ones that are on our view, that even if they know something, they act like, oh my God, you're like teaching them something they never heard before, right? So so in my personal opinion, my communication is limited because I'm like UKG, like things that get lost, and then I'm a fly off the handle. So I know myself to know how to communicate. So I know how to communicate with everybody in the world, including women. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the same thing I feel like myself. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm saying, so at the same time, I could walk into a room. I could walk into a room with businessmen. I could walk into a room with hood dudes. I could walk into a room over there. I could walk. You know what I'm saying? And I treat women all the same. Limited conversation.
I think that's a wonderful philosophy on life. But again, that's me speaking as a introvert and an intellectual. But again,
I was about to say, Josh, you limit it with everybody. Like, you know, really,
but in a very respectful way that is authentic to both parties involved, and that's the most important part to me. So that's just me. And Claudia says it works both ways. It's hard for women to decipher what is important info to share with their men and what is boring versus relevant. In addition to, people also should be transparent and ask clarifying questions, assume the best. However, that's not always realistic, giving on the situation. In some situations may apply a more realistic perspective.
So add to Claudia's point, right? So also one thing that happens when you communicate with your woman too much, you could also get friend zoned that way. You understand? Because the mystery of you, right? The mystery of you sometimes is what keeps you going in life, right? So when people figure out everything about you, you kind of lose that mystique. So they figured out how you do this, you figure out how you do that. It's just doesn't hold the same value anymore, right? So to add to close point or whatever the case is, what she say? Put it up again. What she say again? I want to get it exact word for word. I think it was the other one, no?
Yeah, that's one.
I think there was another one before that I saw. Oh yeah, so like I was saying, right. Because no, she said what's the she's confused about what to talk to men or what she could bring to her man, right?
Oh, what's boring and what's not boring? Yeah.
So that was great for me, because not every topic you should be having with your girl. Like some things, like I tell my lady, when she starts talking about some things, I'll stop her like, whoa, that's a topic you should be having with your girlfriend. You understand? The real talk. The last thing you want to do is start getting into girlfriend topics, bro, because that's the easiest way they're gonna start losing respect for you if they start seeing you in the girlfriend light. So if it comes to like I don't want to hear about your period. I don't want to hear about how, you know what I'm saying, certain stuff like that. Now, if you have a little problem at work and your boss and you want to vent, that's cool. But when it comes to certain things, you got to go talk to your girlfriend about that. Like, I don't even
hold on, brother Lew. You speak in absolute bars, but I need you to say it louder for those in the back after this, which is articulating your point.
I hope you don't think I'm like talking out of my like rear end. Not that you would mind.
Because girls view life from that perspective. And it's not always going to be that way. They're not always going to be able to talk their way out of a situation.
So I've heard KG's answer to this already, Lew, but I haven't heard yours. So when you say that, you know, don't tell me or talk to me everything, but you know how certain people say, right, your spouse or your woman, you know, should be your best friend. Are you saying you don't agree?
Totally disagree. My best friend is my best friend. My spouse is my spouse. There's things things I do with my lover, I would never do with my best friend. Things I do with my best friend, I wouldn't do with my lover. So I like to keep things in their category. Like my lady, a lot of times my lady says, I don't even know who your friends are. You're not supposed to. You understand? They're my friends. You understand what I'm trying to say? But
right.
then she comes back. Oh, what if you go out and you get hurt? That's what they got 911 for. Somebody's gonna get in contact with you. I got my ID on me. They're gonna find where I live, right? So I like to keep things in their category. If I'm gonna go see KG, I'm not gonna bring my friend with me to go see KG, because that's all balance right there. So yeah, so I don't want my girl to be my best friend. She has best friends. Go hang out with your friends. Don't hang out with me, because I'm gonna go hang with my friends. And I just like to keep those zones and keep who you are, so you don't get lost. Because what happens with men is it never gets folded, that she gets folded into your life that way. You end up getting folded into her life. You see what I'm saying? Because we're like that. We're giving of ourselves. So if you're not in constant observation of that, next thing you find yourself with a honey-do list. I heard dudes talking about they got a honey-do list. And I'll be looking at them, what you talking about? Oh, honey. What are you talking about? You see, because you know why? Because you talk to your girl too much. You understand? And next thing you know, she knows. Because now, the more you talk, the more information you reveal. The more information you reveal, the more manipulation she can use on you. Now she know what your favorite this is, your favorite that is, and you kind of Samson, you let your guard down. You know what I'm saying? The next thing you know, you're getting invaded by the Israelites, whatever the case. Giving up all your secrets, kid. But that was the whole thing when you look at the men of the Bible, right? Look at the men of the Bible. What did they do? They gave up their secrets. A lot of them gave up a lot of their secrets. You know what I'm saying? And they can't be pillow talking and talking too much, because eventually you run out of things to talk about. And next thing you start talking about the wrong things, and now whole world of hurt messing with these females in conversation.
What you think about that, KG? You keep smiling and laughing. What would he say?
You know, what I smiled about was really that it circles back to, like what I first started out with saying, like the self-confidence. Like the fact that Lew sit here and say, look, this ain't the way to go. This is how I do it. This is the best way to do the shit. Yo, at his house, that's what works. Right. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, his perspective will work in a lot of situations, and it won't work in a lot of situations. Because if Mike, if you go now and wake up tomorrow, you go and try to apply what Lew just said today, that's not you. You do it his way, and it's gonna be wrong as fuck. You follow what I'm saying? I think that we all have different opinions and perspectives. It's just sprinkle a little bit of game. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does what works for them. I understand Lew's perspective. Yo, y'all ain't telling her nothing. She know what I tell her, and that's what she know. I don't do mines like that. You know what I mean? But I don't do mines like that for reasons that I don't want to talk about. I do mines different. You follow what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, like this ain't the get indicted hotline. This is Poetic. You know what I mean? So I do mine's different than what he's stating he does, but I do a lot of what he does too. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the big takeaway. Like, yo, it all works, but as long as you know who you are, be that. And if you're doing something that's not working for you, then yeah, you need to come on here, you need to listen, and you need to soak up some game and try whatever you can. That's my take.
Facts. So yeah, so like I said, so my lady percent. So now that I don't tell her nothing, she, like you said, she needs what she needs to know. She know my social security number. She know the bank account number, right? So, but those little test questions, like where you going type of situation, those, you know what I'm saying, or this, that, those type of situations is what slowly eats at your manhood, because that's all it is, right? So why I say don't communicate, why I don't get into deep communication with women, is because, remember, you're talking to her you're coming from a masculine point of view. She's coming from a feminine point of view. So for her to understand you, she's going to bring you down to the feminine level. She has to bring you down to that level to be able to understand you. So that's why you see a lot of men. They be like, their son will fall, and they be like, get up, boy. But then their daughter will fall, and they be like, oh, baby girl, princess. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost the same concept, right? So when you're talking to her now, you kind of gotta lower yourself. You gotta watch what you say. If I'm talking to Josh, I might be like, yeah, bitches over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't use that word. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But, men, we be having locker room talk, right? So at the same time, now you try to have that locker room talk with a female. No, you're going to dumb it down. You're going to change your words. You're going to watch what you say. So it's all double standard. So that covers double standard and communication.
Yo, so real quick, like what you're talking about is boundaries, right? And I think that each man should know where their boundaries are, right? Where you going? They all gonna ask that, and they always gonna ask that, even when they know you're not gonna answer the question, because that's their nature, right? And you decide how you want to handle your woman in whatever situation. What I had to focus on was learning my boundaries. You ever ride in a car with your lady and you quiet and she go, what you thinking about? And I'm like, damn, that's invasive as a mug. Like, I can't think my own thoughts to myself. You want to know what I'm thinking by myself. You follow what I'm saying? So I say that to say like, yo, like they'll push as far as it'll go. And it's your responsibility to set those clear boundaries and don't fold on those boundaries, because when you do, you lose ground and it's a slippery slope. Message.
Yeah, silence means mystery. That's why they ask you that. What are you thinking? I'm telling you, gotta stay silent. Because if they don't know, they need to know what you're thinking at all times, brother. That's what the conversation is about. What's going on today? So how was work? You know what I'm saying? They need to know what's going on. But
absolutely. So essentially, you need this type of approach.
That's enough. Don't call us. We'll call you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Cheese in the comments. Okay, women are more detail oriented. Interesting. Okay, we not only pay attention to the words that are spoken, we pay attention to the implications of the tone in which someone speaks. Social creepers, absolutely. And men pay attention to words only. That's interesting.
This is the problem. You pay attention to all of this stuff and you miss the main point.
Miss it.
The red card.
And that's why Lew said he ain't said nothing, because he don't want them to be like.
Claude says exactly, set those boundaries. Little Mermaid in the comments, what up? I agree with Lew. You can't talk to your man about everything. Absolutely. There are things I wouldn't talk about with your man that I would talk about with my girls, or what you would talk about with your parents or other groups of people. This is social network. This is calibration in real time.
You got to separate church and state. That's what I say. Whatever, you know what I mean? This is here and this is here, and I try not to bring them together if I don't have to. Separate church and state. And when they ask me what you mean, when they say, "Well, can I go here? Can I go there?" I say, "Church and state." Church and state. That's what I just say. I'm all over that. So.
Yeah, but steal that one, Mike. I gotta steal that one.
There you go.
Absolutely. And Claude says boundaries are important, and she says, "Who hurt you, Lew?" Damn.
Wow. See? Oh, I'm glad you said that. See, that's another double standard. Why can't we be hurt? Why can't I get hurt? Yeah, I've been hurt. The same way you've been hurt, I've been hurt. Why can't we be hurt? Like, you know what I'm saying? So you think a girl never left my heart broke? Yeah, a girl left my heart broke just like a man left your heart broke. You see what I'm saying? But it's a double standard. We can't say that. Who hurt you? You see what I'm saying? So I don't even listen to that. That's shaming language. I know the language now.
You call it shame? What'd you call it?
Shaming language. You know what I'm saying?
Shaming language. Okay.
Who hurt you? But when they say men are trash or men ain't shit, men are dogs, who hurt you? See what I'm saying? Double standard. Good topic tonight, Josh. Good topic. You know what I'm saying? Good topic.
Hey, it's
that one right there.
Life is I guess being life. We're seeing examples in real time, I guess. Mickey is saying backstage, everything doesn't work for everybody, 1000%. Everything is you know. I didn't say you can't. I said who. I didn't talk like that. Or I don't talk like that.
What's that?
Talk like that.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. So yeah, man. So it's the same thing. So yeah, so you grow.
I think what
up.
she's saying is that she feel like your views must come from a hurt place.
No. My views come from experience. Like, how could you speak? How could we be on here speaking on topics without any experience? Why would I even be on the show if
I agree?
You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't, so there's no so who hurt you could be as simple as there's dudes that set up dates and been ghosted before, right? So could you be hurt by that? Absolutely, because you had your hopes up. So now you ask yourself as a man, which man hasn't been ghosted? You see what I'm saying? What? Oh, it's not even really hurt. It's really a place of disappointment. You see what I'm saying? But maybe at that time it was maybe hurt. But as you grow older, you find out like, oh shit, they doing this to all the guys. You see what I'm saying? You realize that it's no longer from a hurt position. It's from a place of almost like I could explain it to somebody else now when it happened to them. So it's not that. So maybe initially came from a place of hurt, but now it's just coming from a place of knowledge. You can't pull them tricks on me again. So it's all about experience, I guess. You can't tell somebody how to fight until you got beat up before, right? Mike Tyson got his ass whooped. Read his story, right? Before he learned how to fight. So his fighting skills and what he became came from a place of hurt. So you become better. You become better as a person from places of hurt when you break down. So I never let them double stand you with that one. Would you?
I think the point was like what I think you addressed what she was getting at, right? Like, but I think the timing on it was perfect because what she said was her real question was who hurt you. I'm sure she's not looking for a name, right? But the question stated who hurt you, and that's what we're talking about, right? Am I breaking up? You guys can hear me? There's a delay a little bit.
You good now?
All right, cool. So what she said was, who hurt you? Like she literally asked, who hurt you? That was her question, right? If you were to answer the question, you wouldn't not have gotten to the point. You responded to what she meant, not what she said. You follow what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Whereas me,
that's why I don't talk to women.
Right, but for me, I would have looked at that and I wouldn't have answered the question. Or I would have answered the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have answered the question because literally she said, who hurt you? Stacy. You follow what I'm saying? But then where does the conversation go?
Right.
You answered what she meant, but that's a part of the whole communication thing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got it. You're like, yeah, it was from a place of hurt. It was from experience. And that's what she was alluding to. But you know, like it circles back to the whole thing about how we actually communicate. It's my takeaway.
True. So look, so that's what I mean. So as a man, right? That's like you said, you're gonna look at it straightforward. Like who hurt you? Well, basically what she's saying is like you can't be hurt is how I'm seeing it. And I see what you say. She could be saying something totally different. But that's why when you said she said it perfectly and it came at a perfect time and on the perfect topic, that shit was like,
so I gotta plug in my laptop.
You couldn't script that one, you know what I'm saying? So it came at a good time because it covered everything, you know what I'm saying? But that just goes to show you that, you know what I'm saying? That everybody
and then now we have career is the next topic. And how there's a double standard because in some cultures that have existed for thousands of years, you know, sometimes the job that is necessary is to, you know, take care of your offspring essentially, right? So that's how I see it.
The double standard in careers.
Well, if you look at it, right, we got a perfect one for the double standard in careers. Sports. Ooh, right. So like the soccer team in the WNBA saying like they deserve more money or whatever for the same sport that they doing as the men, right? So in a sense, they want the same pay for less work, in a sense. And they feel as though they deserve it because you as a man gets paid that way. And I never understood that. I just can't understand that angle when they broke it. Because when you break down the numbers, again, when you go to the logical side of it, the emotional side of it is say, yeah, men should be paid the same as women. But then when you go to the logical side and you break it down, you say, but wait a minute, basketball arenas are filled more than WNBA arenas. You know what I'm saying? The NBA is filled. So, and same thing with all men's sports. So when you look at it logically, then you say, nah, it doesn't make sense. But what do you go with? Do you go with the emotional side of it? Or do you go with your logical side and say, nah, we can't pay you more?
I mean, I'm a logical person. I'm always go with the logic. You know what I'm saying? They don't bring in the same amount of revenue. As simple as that. So I can't pay you for less revenue. It's a business first and foremost. A business there to entertain, yes, but it's still a business. So if you don't bring in the revenue, I can't pay you more. Same thing when it comes to the like I'm a big movie fan with actors and actresses, right? Actresses don't generate don't their movies when they headline don't make as much as the men movies when they headline, so they don't get as paid as much. It just is what it is, you know what I mean? So I feel like yes, you can have a picket line or protest or whatever, but the numbers don't lie. Like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So that's how I look at it.
And Claudia says subliminal messages a woman's superpower.
It's not a superpower. Respectfully, like I don't mean that. I'm not being funny.
Hold up. How it's not? They got a lot of work done with that subliminal message. Because subliminal message is another way of saying manipulation, bro. You know what I'm saying? And
well, so I think, excuse me, I think that like to be able to understand subliminal messages, right? It's a very learned behavior. You follow what I'm saying? Like, it's not really a superpower, right? It's really just like it's a survival mechanism, right? Like you realize, like regardless, whatever environment that you're in, like hey, like you brought up Mike Tyson. His story is he had to be able, in order to survive in his environment, he had to become much more vicious, and he built on it from that. Regardless of what your environment is, you're gonna have to be able to accommodate yourself to it, right? Acclimate yourself to it, rather. Right?
Yeah.
Reading subliminal messages, like you change your environment today, and that's what's going on. You like right away, you smart enough, you're gonna have to start to read that invisible ink. Shit is happening, and you can't tell why it's happening. You start paying attention to all of the nonverbal stuff. The point is that we were making. And this is not just so that we're clear. This is not a knock on Chloe. I understand what she's saying. Like women have mastered subliminal messages, right? And that's why men look at it as like a feminine trait. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of subliminal things happen, and I don't think that like it's a superpower to be able to read them and send them. I think that it's observant. So I think it's a good thing. But the point is that if that's what the focus is, then you miss what the actual topic is about. And then you end up talking about how you're talking about a topic rather than discussing the topic itself.
Yeah. But also what I see like with the career thing, like so it's kind of hard too, right? So if you speak to men that work around with a bunch of women, like they'll tell you the same thing. Like that's one of the toughest places to work, man, because again, there's even ways men work are different than the way women work. See what I'm saying? We work totally different. Our mindset, the way we think. See what I'm saying? So I think it's a lot of double standard, and I just feel as though sometimes if I work with a woman, depending on what we're doing, I gotta slow down a little bit, because what happens is, this is my personal experience. Of course, I can't speak for all women, but I realize what happens is when they say, "Can you help me with something?" What ends up happening is you start doing the whole project yourself. You see what I'm saying? So you did your end of it, and now she's like, "Can you just help me?" Next thing you know, they walk off, and next thing you know, you're doing the whole. You did your end and their end. So yeah, it's a lot of double standards, especially when they telling them the real double standard is they telling them that men could do what women can do, and women can do what men can do. That's the biggest career double standard or whatever.
And Chloe says, so in average industries, the numbers are skewed. That's interesting. Women will catch things that men can't see. Okay.
True.
And G says, Chloe, we are more intuitive, 1000%, right? And men will catch things women can't. Men's superpower is logic, which is why the team is needed to
conquer. Supposed to be conquer, she's trying to say. Oh, no.
Yeah, balance. Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, I see what you're going with it. I agree with it.
I guess I have to have the same argument about like logic being a superpower, right? But I think what she's really saying, like what's innate to both genders in a general sense. I get you. I really don't know where I stand at with the career thing. Like even with the WNBA or the soccer, like like you said, you both made a point. Like it's the numbers, right? Like like you don't get as many fans, you don't sell as many tickets. It doesn't demand as much attention, so you don't get paid as much, right? Yeah. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's why I feel like they should have better marketing schemes, because there's a avenue there. It's just that they're not trying to maximize it as a business, which is what the NBA's model is. They've expanded all over the globe in a multitude of ways, especially since the Dream Team. So that's what the WNBA needs to do. They need to include the entire world as they have, but also market it specifically for their demographics. That's all I say.
Man, ain't nobody going to the games, man. All right, come on. Not to like.
Don't do it, son. Don't do it. Don't do it, son. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's funny.
He's gonna do it. Don't do it.
That's why I like you, KG. That's a brother right there. That's a good brother right there, man.
They gotta. I mean, we talk about that. They gotta market individual stars like the NBA does. Like that. That's their problem, honestly. Nobody who knows won a WNBA MVP last year. Nobody knows, right? So they don't do a good job at marketing. I think they try. What happened?
I never even thought about that. They get MVPs too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But you know why? Because they try to market as a whole. You know, women's push. We're women's league. We're all one. But NBA don't even do that. They market individual stars, and that's how it build the brand. That's what I think their problem is. We're just talking about that, but that's another subject.
Absolutely, and I think if they had more reality TV shows of just like how they do for men's
wrestling,
team,
even
right?
though that
even like docuseries, have a docuseries about a professional women's sports team and get people more involved with that, like it, so you can actually see how it is. So there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yo, on the women's sports team is not even on some betting sites, bro. That's I'm just trying to say, bro. So think about that, man. Think about how degenerate bettors out there. They don't even have, like, on some sites they don't even have women's like soccer, women's basketball. You can't put a wager on.
Well, you're right, yo.
He's right. Yeah, he's right.
It's not about marketing.
That sounds like a lane. That sounds like a lane.
It sounds like a lane, but
it's lock and move out. Like
it's but you know why? Because think about it, right? So a lot of these sports, like you guys said, they're like individualized. Like, you know the names, you know how much stats they do. So So now when you don't even know the name, because right now, if I ask any one of you dudes to name me 5 WNBA teams, you wouldn't be able to do it right now.
Lisa
Much less
Leslie.
5. Yeah. So I'm saying, so again, it goes to the marketing, but I think we're in a capitalist. We're in a capitalistic society, right? So if there was an angle, they would have already captured it, bro. There's no angle. They did the research.
They want an angle though.
Why wouldn't they? Don't make no sense.
I think it's the same thing. Like I think it's the same thing. Like like it's a regulation thing, bro. Like so you look at, and I don't want to like drift off too much, but you look at the market with the cryptocurrencies, like with the exchange of wealth, the amount of people that are making so much money on this. There's so many people talking against it rather than allowing it to flourish because there's gonna be a change. People don't want that, bro. Like
nobody talk against the WNBA. we just act like it don't even exist. We don't even talk about it.
That's my point. Like, what is there to say? You follow what I mean? Like, you could push it. If you pushed it and you made it a thing, we in here talking, memes are a thing. Just because it became a thing, you just push it. If they pushed it, it would be a thing. I know so many songs in my head on the radio that I don't like because they push it. Yeah. There's a reason why it's not being pushed. That's my take.
Yeah, and also, man, listen, like he said about the fans going to the games, right? You know, in a non-pandemic world and watching it, but the women don't even watch the women, right? So they're not even supporting each other.
Have y'all ever watched a whole WNBA game?
Never, not in life. I don't think so.
You watch a whole one on TV?
I did.
From beginning to end?
Beginning to end.
I mean, I know some, players who played in there. So shout out to Bridget Mitchell, who also plays, overseas as well. So, and now she coaches. So yeah.
I'm a really bad person for this. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, I gotta walk away.
But I do think that, like I said, like if it's a woman thing in general, whatever's WNBA, actors, businesses, whatever, if y'all if they're gonna want to say we want to have equal earnings, equal this and that, you should support each other as well and whatnot. So I think like when you look at even like social media sites, TMZ, Shade Room, whatever, like they will put LeBron James on there, right? Or even Russell Westbrook, somebody like that. But when you ever see a WNBA person and what's going on in their life on TMZ or the Shade Room, you never see that, right? So it's like they don't even support each other in that way.
So is it also our again biological system and the way we see women? Do we see them in the wrong sport? That's like, are you ready to see a female quarterback? Right? Because think about it. When they do the track and field for the Olympics, the highest rating is the women's track and field team many of the times, right? So
but they market the individual stars. You know who Marion Jones was. You know who FloJo was.
Not really. Not really. They get marketed around Olympic times. But we're talking about. Really though, not many people. Many people when they tune in ain't saying, "Yo, I'm tuning in to watch FloJo." They just be tuning in to watch the women run. You see what I'm saying? Because I just think we see that's over time. I think it goes back to the feminine and masculine aspect of things. I don't want to jump ahead, but I just think that has a lot to do with it. Like when you see an ice skater, right? You don't look at her like you go see an ice skater female probably before you go do a WNBA game. Real talk. I might go see the ice capades before.
Okay, so you're saying like how the gymnastic girls get a lot of views and stuff like that.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like if they're in their genre of how we kind of see women, I think that also plays a part of it. We're used to seeing.
So a question for the men who appreciate sports. All of us appreciate sports.
Women's volleyball.
Thank you. So. And my follow-up is on the sand or hardwood, because I'm taking both.
Yeah, both.
Not all teams though. I like the Brazilian team is my team. I'm taking dibs right now. Yeah, I got the Brazilian team. That's my team right there.
Wait, what was your question, Josh?
I'm probably going with Jamaica if I would do that.
What, Josh? What was your question? I'm sorry, I missed it. Sorry.
For like so KG essentially like what we were saying is like volleyball. That would be the sport,
right?
Yeah.
I've watched the whole women's volleyball game.
So have I. Yeah, me too.
Match. They call it a match.
But how do y'all feel about like women in business now, right? So there's, like you said, it's a lot of careers, right? So I don't know if any of y'all ever had like a female boss. And how was your work ethic under your female boss as opposed to your male boss? Did you know what I'm saying? Did you take more days off? Did you see what I'm saying? So I like that aspect. I was always interested because we know like the corporate world now is being filled with women in all types of positions where typically we used to see men in, and I don't know how you might feel about that.
I feel like, I mean, it's weird to say, but I feel like I like the male boss better. I feel like they're straight shooters, and I like that or whatever. It's okay, give it to me straight. I feel like sometimes my female bosses be around the bush a little bit, or sometimes I feel like you try to get away with it a little bit more, but then it comes back to you or whatever like that. I would say, listen, you ain't doing this. I need you to do this, and I'm gonna do it or whatever like that. So I feel like that for me personally, I've always like at jobs I've had, I've always worked better under a male boss. I feel like. So.
Interesting.
Me personally. So.
Interesting. And Clovis says, which is why women make more money on OnlyFans. Absolutely. Double standards exist. However, in the arena that is based on intellectual property, it's unequal regardless of value and income potential. Men make more. Tennis. However, I do think volleyball on hardwood and the sand would probably be very dominant ratings if it actually was supported like tennis or basketball.
It's true.
Yeah, I'm with KG. I don't watch a few volleyball games on ESPN too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. So.
Like, oh, volleyball.
right.
All right. But so now ask yourself. Now we got to get to like a deeper question. Why? Is it because is it because the outfit? Is it because what's going on? Because remember, we're watching these women run up and down in baggy shorts like your homeboy, and we almost looking like, you see what I'm saying? Like you watching your whole, like let's be real, the WNBA doesn't have any sex appeal, right? As those other sports that you just named or whatever the case is. Also the same thing with the soccer. So if you look at the sports that the women play that you would say have less sex appeal than the others, look at the ones you pick. You pick volleyball, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't think you just watching for the spikes or whatever the case may be, right? So
like, man, she got hops. You know what I mean?
She got hops, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look how good she is. So at the same time, I think it goes back to biological. I think they're forcing these things onto us. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this men could be women, women could be man stuff. And at the same time, if you break it down into now revenue and you break it down into the system moving, it shows itself that we're not interested in that. We're still interested in women. Even if they're playing sports, we still want to see some type of femininity to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. I agree.
I feel like cheerleading is a great example.
Yeah, male cheerleaders be like, why is he there though? I don't understand.
He's the smartest one in the room.
Great example. Great example, bro. Great example.
But 25, 30 years ago, right, they would turn them away. But now they got to let the dudes on the team. So to Lou's point, that's what's happening. The switcheroo and stuff like that. It's a little more crazy.
Yeah. But with the switcheroo, right? So as in everything else, everything backfires, right? So when it comes to careers now, and we don't have any boundaries, as KG was referring to earlier. We don't have any boundaries. So now men could be women, women could be men. So the UFC fighter that changed his sex and started fighting with women. Did you see what happened to that woman in that fight? She got her face bashed in badly, right? So that's where the double standards in these things, in these careers, could backfire. Because they even
it was a dude who became a woman and fought a woman.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Now he could fight in the women's league. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and he was just bashing their faces. You know what I'm saying? Almost beat one unconscious. You see what I'm saying?
He was winning after that. Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's crazy.
But if you look across a lot of sports, that's what's happening. A lot of men are just switching over and saying that they're now women. And now the same man that was coming in 15th place versus the men now coming in first. When they go to, so the double standards in these careers are kind of backfiring, and like when we cross these boundaries, it's going to reveal itself. You know what I'm saying? That there's roles for men and there's roles for women, even in, like Josh's topic, a career.
What's the deeper question?
And that's my question. Thank you, Keith. He says, exactly. Let's get to the deeper question. What is the deeper question?
Is AMC going to squeeze Nick tomorrow?
Yes.
All right. So as we get to the next topic, which is masculine women. And I guess, why do we think women, well, let's say modern women who are acting more in a masculine role than ever before in history?
How about this? Because I have a lot of questions. Give me an example of a masculine woman, like in a hypothetical or a real situation.
If she's attempting to dominate the conversation, things like that. And not in a respectful way, but just trying to overtalk you and doing it continuously after you're being polite, type of thing. Like, it's not like it's prompted, it just comes along.
I wasn't being funny. I was asking, like, I didn't know if that meant like, yo, she insists on carrying the case of water in the house, or like, you know what I mean? I ain't know. You know what I mean? Like, no, I got the water. Like, all right.
Are you asking if they exist?
I'm asking, what do you think when you think about the topic? Because KG had to ask a clarifying question. I appreciate that, KG. So that's what I'm saying. Like, when you think about that term, or do you think about some mannerisms that you've witnessed before that, you know, essentially is not in balance with her divine feminine, right? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, true. When you put it that way, man, it's nothing appealing about it. You know what I'm saying? That's the fast way to get friend zone. You know what I'm saying? Just having that masculine quality. But at the end of the day, where there's no masculinity, the woman is automatically gonna take that on, because it has to be masculinity. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be femininity, but for some reason, I see like women need that masculinity in their life. It's like some type of energizer, something, some type of battery. So when it's not there, like, and where you see it at, where it shows his face a lot, is in like single mother homes, where they have to take on the role as the mother and father, and it almost takes something from them. You know what I'm saying? When they have to do that, when they have to take on that masculine role, I think a woman loses a piece of herself. And when they
gotta be a little. Because of the balance that they need, they gotta be a little harder. I see what you're saying. I guess I never looked at it as like a masculine woman. You know what I mean? Like, I guess to me, like you made a point, like, oh, if your son falls, you're like, yo, get up. If your daughter falls, you're like, yo, you all right, baby girl? Like, are you being feminine when you do that? I don't see it that way. You know what I mean? Like carrying the case in the water, she carry it, she got hands, she could carry it, or I could carry it. You know what I mean? I look at masculinity and femininity like different. Like I don't feel like a woman is like, oh, this woman is masculine because like the way you described it, Josh, in my mind was like, oh, this woman is for whatever reason she's trying to dominate the conversation. I'm like, yo, she being pushy. You know what I mean? Not like she's masculine. I don't feel like this is an alpha male trying to establish his like I don't feel threatened. I don't feel any masculine energy coming from a woman doing that. I look at it as kind of like this is a little out of pocket. But I guess somebody's okay with it. I'm not. You follow what I'm saying? Like a masculine woman. That's why I asked. Like I didn't know if we were talking about like we mentioned like how men go to women and they play in their women's sports. I didn't know we were talking about the adverts for women. Masculine energy gets stuff done, so that's why.
Quick question, KG. So a good looking UFC female fighter, would you date her? A UFC trained professional. Now she's a professional now. Would you date her? And you go to her fights and all that. You ain't just at the house waiting for her to come home. You see her with a busted nose. You can see her with a busted nose.
I see what you did.
She look good though when her nose ain't busted.
I see what you did, Lou. I see what you did. You did a thing. I see what you did. I didn't consider that. Is that masculine?
Remember them hands is nice too.
She nice. She nice. You gotta she be like, what? And you be like, what? What? You know what I mean? Like, she nice.
You talking that slam the door shit.
I tell you what, you slamming the door, I slam the door, I slam the door. Like, yeah, like I see what you're saying. But for me, honestly speaking, I would say yes if I were a UFC fighter.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
All right.
I would date, let me finish. I would date a WNBA player, female NBA player, if I were an NBA player. My preference isn't women who are 6'5". If you follow what I'm saying? My preference isn't women who fight unless that's what I do. So for me, my preference, I could see me being open to that and willing and wanting that if that fit into my lifestyle.
But there's an obvious problem, right? There's an obvious problem the obvious problem is WNBA players aren't married to NBA players, right? So I think as a man, even a NBA player probably still doesn't want a WNBA player. You see what I'm saying? Just like it's almost like you don't want your woman on your level in a way. Why would I want my woman on my level? Again, so you kind of see they get women that are kind of not in that arena.
I personally, for WNBA, I think that's different than UFC. For me, I would date a WNBA player, like a woman who played in the league. If I found her attractive, she's a feminine woman. That's what I like. I would date her. I'm not tall enough to date her. You follow what I'm saying, bro? Like, so I wouldn't be, but solely because of my preference.
But think about the UFC fighter, right? After she had to fight and you get knocked out crazy. How is she gonna see you now as a man? You see what I'm saying?
I don't think it's the same, bro.
Huh?
I don't think it's the same. I look at that like, yo, I'm at work, dog. Not only am I at work, but I just cashed out.
We biological creatures, so even though you're at work, you're still a human being. So I think like if your girl, I don't care who you are, regular dude or UFC fighter, I think if your girl saw you get whooped in like a straight one-on-one fight, no jumping, she gonna lose a little respect for you, bro. You see what I'm saying? So that's just my whole point. My whole point is like masculine women, man, is just it's gonna knock you off your masculine frame. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because where you getting the femininity from? You have to get the femininity from somewhere as a man, especially if you're we're talking about cohabitating now, right? And being with these women, right? So you have to get that femininity from somewhere, and you have to get it. So if you're not getting it, man, it's almost like you with another dude, almost in a way.
However, as Claude says, they have to tune into that energy to survive. That's how they're raised, right? That was the plan for them to be raised in that way. And then feminine men, like masculine women, people like nature strive for balance.
I guess I can't really pick. Like, I guess I'm the only one that's struggling with like a masculine woman. Like, I can't even like in my mind like a masculine woman. I'm like, what does that look like?
I mean,
China,
okay, let me try that.
China,
Let me try
wrestler.
that.
Yeah, but man, I don't like. I guess I thought like, yo, they still want to. If they still want to, like, they still want a man. You follow what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, well, she was dating Triple H for years or whatever like that. So that actually makes sense. But I think it's more beyond appearance, Lou. You know, I think it's also what Josh speaking of. I think like even masculine energy within the household, like a woman who's, let's say, trying to run the house herself, right? Like she's in control of what happens and what doesn't happen, and where you'll go and what y'all do and stuff like that. That to me is more masculine energy. So we're like, you know, she feels like, you know, she runs everything, and then you have to kind of just fall in place with her. That type of woman. Like, I would want to think that type of woman. You know what I mean? I know as a man's job, you're supposed to kind of you know, get her on board with you, but there are some, I guess, that come with that energy so full of force or whatever like that you know, it's hard to get them on board. So that type of energy I wouldn't want.
I feel like maybe this is just my perspective, but I feel like when a woman is really like that, like she wants to be in control and she hasn't had the and she's into men, right?
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't been
with the right man. That's what I said earlier. It's our job to get him in the right place. I agree with that.
So you know what I mean? Like, you gotta every woman has a button, bro.
Okay, KG. Thanks to Claude Diz, I have an example for you.
Okay.
Young lady. I'm just asking you to listen to me. Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
Do you identify as black?
What?
No, it's a serious question because you might not identify.
Well, I'm out, man.
Okay.
When I walked into the room,
I'm not done with my question.
Young lady.
I'm just asking you to listen to me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm black.
Do you identify as black?
Yeah, man. So that's what you who's somebody mentioned that. The one that was like over talk. Oh yeah, Mike, you just mentioned that. Like, just over talking you, like, you know what I'm saying? Be quiet. I'm not done with my question yet. Like, yo, that's crazy, man. That's just wild.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So imagine if that's like so how would you deal with that as a man, like in your household, if that
Well,
happens?
I've run into that before, right?
Of course,
now,
we all have. Like, who hasn't, right? So how would you deal with it?
So you see it and you're like, wait a second, like if you deal like on the one-to-one, like people get caught up in the rapture at the moment. So, you know what I mean? It's hard to address it. But when you catch it on the slide, like, and you can assess it, this person in particular, she had a poor disposition towards men, right? Single parent household type shit stuff. Like she didn't see value in men, right? So she was raised by a single mother. Her dad wasn't around. He wasn't a good example. She didn't have positive male role models in her life. So she looked at men as more like a competition, or like, why do you even have this status or value, without verbalizing it to herself. So it was constant aggression. It was constant. It was always combative. Like it was a loss of respect for the gender, right? So it had to be reestablished, because you figure like men do it too. Like if you see like they'll treat women like objects. Like they're not like a person. Yo, this is what they want. This is what they need to do. This is how you do it. Boom, and then that's it, right? To each their own. But my point is that when you lose respect in that regard, it needs to be reestablished. Some people don't have the patience for that. Some people don't have the
That's
time.
the key. Yeah, I agree with you. It can happen, but you gotta have the patience for it. I agree with
Right.
100%.
So in that instance, she was way out of line and out of pocket, right? But that wasn't the instance to correct it. Somebody has to correct it or not. But I didn't look at that again as her being masculine. I looked at her as being like inappropriate. Like you even see it, the dude was like, young lady, like the fuck are you doing? You follow what I'm saying? She felt like, I can go ahead and I can say whatever I want. It's a respect thing. But that's just my take on it. I understand what you guys are saying. Like, yo, that is masculine energy. Women shouldn't do that. All right, I get it. I'm not arguing. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like she was more or less out of pocket, not like she was a masculine man or she had.
All right, that's fair, KG. And my question would be, did you ever see that video of that lady fighting her boyfriend on the airplane?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Unfortunately, I can't show the video because they might take down this video, so I can't.
Give me the synopsis of what happened.
So
Send me the link later on.
Absolutely. So essentially, it was actually on the episode of Poetic Charm as well. So essentially, what happened was a woman was on the airplane and she got into an argument with, I believe at the time, the significant other, and they had a fight about, relationship issues and maybe some possible infidelity or whatnot or something like that. And then she started assaulting him with her fist.
All right, so bust it, right? So arguably, just to wrap it, he probably got caught cheating or somebody was lying, right?
Mm-hmm.
She punched him in his face. Before that happened, the loss of respect was already in their relationship.
Because she knew she could do that. I agree. Yes.
So I hear what you're saying. You're like, oh, that's a woman with masculine energy. I hear what you're saying. What I'm telling you is that there was a loss of respect for that specific man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some women, they're going any dude. But if they will, there's a lack of respect for men. I guess, and I'm not saying that this is absolute, but I don't understand how a woman can be masculine. Right? Maybe I'm just naive or I'm not seeing the big picture.
Well, I think you have masculine traits or masculine energies, so to speak, but not actually be masculine. I think you make excellent points. I think in that relationship, something happened within that relationship that allowed her to think, I could punch him in the face.
I could punch him in private or in public. Like she felt like she could win if she did that. She thought she could take him.
Correct.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they had conversations before, and he told her all the times he got beat up. He was talking too much. Can't be telling your secrets, man. She gonna take that as advantage, all right? Because he probably had too much conversation with her.
I don't know what it was, but something definitely happened. But and you got to establish that early. That kind of male dominance, for lack of a better word. Like you are the alpha male in this situation. I think you can get rid of the masculine energy or masculine traits, but I think that it has to start early, and you got to have patience, like KG said. But some are harder than others because their father didn't get rid of it, right? So sometimes it's embedded in them. I know a girl like her dad. If she was grown by then, but if he said something to her, she'd be like, "Who you talking to, Richard?" Like she starts saying his name, like yeah. She'd be like, "Yeah." She'd be like, "You better back up on my face." Like, so
Oh man.
somebody like that or whatever. Yes, you could date her and try to turn her over, but it's gonna be a project or whatever. What I was saying.
But that's what I'm saying. As a man, right? We got work. We got the yard to take care of. We got to put a deck on the back of the yard. We got all types of stuff. Do we need a woman to be a project? Because that's what I've been hearing like all the time.
No. I'm sorry. My fault. Go ahead, finish. My bad, bro.
Yeah. So we got so much to do that the last thing you want to do is have to be like correcting your woman. That's where your peace is supposed to be at. That's where all the outside noise is supposed to just disappear. So now you sitting there, you're done was at work. You probably checked a few people in the street that disrespected you already. You know what I'm saying? You're going through all this, and now you got to come home and now you got to correct something else. It's like, man, that could be real draining on yourself, man. As men.
And she's asked if it's masculine or just rude, though. And 29 says that I would say masculine because she thought she could go toe to toe with a man. If a man spoke to him like that, he would be prepared to get knocked out potentially. And she said that close. So are we saying to be masculine is being rude then? And then Sakfa say, hey, Pierre. Papa P, what up? Congratulations, my bro. 29-ish. She had the type of way she was combative in a masculine way, absolutely. And because technically she couldn't fight him, feminine energy isn't to fight, that's masculine. And you may be able to argue that feminine energy is ready to fight for her offspring. That's when that comes out. And this is why I say like that's why it's a career. Like there's it's like in the Spartans movies, like how many warriors did you bring? If they're about that life, they brought the Spartans. That's how
I see what you're saying. So it's not ladylike. She wasn't being feminine. And I guess what I'm looking at it like, I can't get past the disrespect. I'm like, bro, what? Like, I see what you guys are saying. I get it.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, though, right? Because masculinity is actually a superpower, right? Masculinity is actually a superpower, right? So that's actually now you could argue it not, but I think that's a man's superpower. Once you lose that, you kind of lose a lot of things as a man, right? You get pushed around a lot, and all types of situations happen. So I just think that when you give people power that they're not supposed to have, they turn it into something else, and then we described it as something else. So she probably has it in her head that that's what men get to do. Men get to cut other men off and say, I'm speaking. So now that she takes that energy on, she's misusing the masculinity, because masculinity is actually polite. Masculinity is everything that you think is feminine, right? So masculinity is soft. Masculinity is fair, is just. You see what I'm saying? Those are all the things that's wrapped into one. But she only took it from one aspect, an aggressive side. I'm going to use this, and instead of, you know what I'm saying, and humbling herself or whatever the case is. Because just like you said, in the earlier topic, I believe Mike said that we all know how to speak to somebody at a certain time. She spoke like that at that time because she knew he couldn't get up and do what he would have to do. So she figured she could pull that card at that time. Maybe if that was a closed case scenario and it was just hurting him, she wouldn't particularly talk to that man like that. You see what I'm saying? So I guess it all goes down to respect. So I believe Close says masculinity rudeness. Nah, it's rudeness when used improperly. It becomes rudeness. But there's a way.
So check this out. I mentioned it before, like what you say, yo, if your son fall, you like, yo, get up. If your daughter fall, you like, yo, you okay, right? Hey, you know what I mean? That's your baby girl, right? That is expressing, and for the argument's sake, for black and white, that is expressing feminine energy, right? To be caring, like nurturing in that regard. So if that's the case, then we all have masculine and feminine energy, right? Men and women, right? So if a woman does something that she naturally has, like you said, like even if it's to defend her killed children or herself, like if you have a daughter, you're gonna make sure your daughter can defend herself. You follow what I'm saying? Is that teaching her how to be masculine? No, it's teaching her how to survive. It's balance. So if we all have that energy, I think that she was just out of pocket. I don't feel like she was masculine, and I don't feel like he was doing what he was supposed to do to put himself in that situation. Now, you're not gonna if each of you has your own lady, right? Y'all have an argument and she punched you in your face, you'd be shocked because you'd be like, there's no way I saw this happening. But that's probably not gonna happen. The fact that she did that on an airplane means that that type of thing was already displaced in this situation.
KG, this is a heads up. She also hit him with a laptop, I believe, on the back of his head.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, she was comfortable with the disrespect, though. So that's what I mean. Like, that wasn't an isolated incident.
Yeah.
That's
so
fair.
KG to say to answer your question. So nah. So the problem is not that. Again, the problem is not that they act masculine or whatever the case is or whatever the definition is. The problem is they don't know when to turn it off when it comes to you. That's the problem. So I like my girl. I like my girl. I like the fact that I could tell my girl, like, yo, I'm having a problem with this bill. Pick up the phone and handle this. And she knows how to handle that. Or somebody come to the door and she's like, nah, he not here. Like, what do you want? You know what I'm saying?
Masculine energy.
But now when she comes to you, I need you to be able to turn that off. All right. For example, right?
You regulate that because you are the
true. Yeah. So I'm not debating if I should regulate it. Of course, you have to regulate it. You have to set it up. So, so a great example of that is the lioness and the male lion, right? You see how rough the lioness is. See how she hunts and she takes down the buffalo. She takes down any animal in there. But when that male lion come around, what she do? She roll over on her back and play like a pussycat. You understand? So she went from this fierce thing that could fight against hyenas if they come around the cubs to fight the buffalo. But when that male lion comes down, she turns into the most submissive, almost like a house cat, almost, if you ever see the interaction. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I need you to be able to handle this work for me. Like, I'm having a problem with one of my distributors. I need you to call them. They ain't cover this invoice. I need you to take care of that. But when you're done with that, turn that off, because you know what I'm saying? I'm here. You need to turn that off. The problem is they don't turn it off.
All right, so it gets turned off at your house, right?
Listen, not 100%, bro. Remember where we at now. We're in 2021 now, so you're not gonna be 100%. You're not gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're in some places now where you against the court system and society. You ain't being too tough at home now. You tough just enough.
Well, I get where you're coming from. I think, for me, I think that just like you go to work and you do your thing, you out in the street, you handling your business, you have your own company, whatever you're doing. If you're doing it all like you should, you know what I mean? Like, you still got to manage your woman. You got to still manage your family. You still got to manage, you king of all you survey, right? So when you're managing it, you're aware, like, you have there is subliminal things that are happening, and you have to be aware of this too. So when there's a lack of respect, it starts to brew. It gains momentum, and it's the man's responsibility to check it
right away.
You're missing, right? You got to stop the momentum. There's boundaries being crossed, and just like we talked about before, it's a slippery slope. and then you let a little bit disrespect, you talk a little too much, you miss a little bit too much, and then it turns into a situation. Now you got hit in the head with a laptop. You follow what I'm saying? Because you wasn't managing your stuff. Now, I get what you're saying. She was out of pocket, but we all have feminine, masculine energies, and I feel like he clearly was not managing his situation, and he was not being the masculine individual that we're alluding to ourselves to be, and that's why he got his ass whooped on the airplane by the
He got shipped on the airplane. Yeah, correct. Yeah, because like, oh man, it's like, to me, you got to establish early, in those type of situations. Look, I don't know how your emotions running, but if you decide to get physical, this will not end well for you. And once you let them know that, I feel like they will respect you in that way. We're on out. So.
And Claudia says masculine women don't regulate the balance at home. There is consistent energy, no off switch. Luke said it best.
Yeah.
And feminine men don't set those boundaries because they aren't respected, especially from masculine women. So beta boys, basically, right?
Nobody respects the beta boy, not even the girls that like him.
Not even the girls that like him.
Nah, yeah, man. You know how that go already, man. So nice guys finish last. Because again, it's biological. Women expect something from you. So if you in the mirror more than your girl, like, she's gonna start losing respect for you. You know what I'm saying? Because she views beauty as her thing. So now you like on her level, trying to always in the mirror, you checking your eyebrows, like she start looking at you in a funny way. So I'm telling you. Yeah, so
that's 100 right there. That comment right there. So.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying. That's why, like, a lot of the things I don't talk to women about, because a lot of the things now, if she starts seeing you through that feminine lens, bro, that's almost worse than the friend zone. I mean, the friend zone is almost you being looked through a feminine lens in a way when you think about the friend zone, because they'll come to you, they'll lay their problems. You're almost like an emotional sponge at that point. Like, and something they would not do to an alpha male. They would not go to an alpha male and make him an emotional sponge, but she'll make you an emotional sponge because, you know what I'm saying? Because you'll soak it up and you'll take that. And then what else would you take? And after a while,
you'll take it all, and then you'll be in that zone and never get out. Correct. Yeah.
The feminine friend zone, that's the worst one, bro. That's why you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in either one. Like some dudes, like, they go get, I don't know, they like they get manicures and pedicures with their girl. Like there's some things, like, there's some things you shouldn't talk about with your girl. I just think there's some things you shouldn't even do with your girl, like a manicure. I mean, if you're gonna get they call it like a mani pedi, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go get a mani pedi. Like, no, we're not doing that. Like. But so those things are over time, because again, remember, now she does that with her girlfriend. So we're talking about the subconscious mind here. We're not talking about a conscious mind. The subconscious mind is the one that's going to take over and put you in that light in her eyes. That she's not doing it on purpose, but that's just the biological of how we're made up. That it eventually just happens. You know what I'm saying? Because you were carrying on these things that are labeled feminine or whatever case is.
Yeah. Well, look, fellas, it's that time for me. I'm gonna go ahead, hook slide, man. I catch y'all on the rebound. It was a good chat, man. I'll build with y'all on the next one.
All right, appreciate it, KG.
All right, KG. Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely. And then, okay, so for me, it's definitely a balance of feminine and masculine energy, because as Chloe was saying, there needs to be certain things that need to be done at a certain time. So that's the logical side of the brain, right? Then you have the intuitive side that Cheese is talking about, right? So it's also important to have that balance. But there is a balance, but that balance is only going to be created by a structure. And to have a structure is logical at its base. But the aspects in the structure are also intuitive. That's where you have the balance. And if you don't have that balance, you're never going to reach that level of cooperation, which is unfortunate because human beings are designed to cooperate. So imagine people who cooperate and they'll have those type of feelings for each other and they have the same vision. That could be an amazing thing, especially in our community. So I feel like this is what needs to be promoted as opposed to essentially Thought Girl Summer, unfortunately.
Man, that was that, man. You should write that in some type of poetry form because that was beautiful, man. Because that's exactly what happens when they come together and you at your. Because what happens is you can't be at your most masculine without femininity, and she can't be at her most feminine without masculinity, like you said. But when that comes to and that meshes correctly with that intuitiveness and the logic, oh man, because yeah, we might speak harshly, but man, a woman like on your purpose, nobody goes harder. Like you're not gonna get as far on your purpose as you would if you had your woman there with that extra eye looking at certain things and move, you know what I'm saying? You'll get to where you're going, but with that, like you said, that special balance, man, you'll get there faster, way faster. But again, that goes a lot of what happens is a lot of times you have a goal and the other person has a goal. Like, so how are we gonna get this accomplished? You see what I'm saying? Like we're going in two different directions. That's why I always believe the man should be the head of the household. You see what I'm saying? And unless his decisions are becoming detrimental, I just feel that if he's making the right decisions and the household is moving in the right direction, that I believe a woman at that point should be like, let me start nurturing what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I see the direction it's going in. What happens is usually women be having their own goals and you have your own goal. And then it's not going to work because that balance is not there. And then the feminine and masculine energy of that not being there is all off. So now it's like, you know, you doing certain things, she doing certain things. And so what you just said, Josh, is the perfect recipe to the cake, man. And once you get that, man, it's a nice morsel.
Absolutely. And Pierre Breval says, Luke, how many kids you got?
I got one child. I don't have any goats.
Fair enough. And just brief intermission to thank our sponsor for the show, Mr. Pierre P Work. Shout out to P Work, Papa P. I see you, my bro. Operator of Hood Ratchet TV. So make sure you guys follow that account because it's an amazing page and I guarantee you're going to see something you're going to like. One of which was this, which was interesting. So shout out to P for this. The two richest men on earth couldn't even keep their chick happy, but I'm supposed to. How do y'all feel about that comment?
Woof.
I mean,
that's what
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Kevin Samuel's example of the men's store and how women go all the way up the men's store.
What you mean? All
right, so at each level, you have the husband store, not the man store, the husband store.
Okay.
It's essentially the same example, right? So at each level, they have different options for husband, hypergamy, let's say. These are the options at every different level. And then at a certain level, a lady gets an invitation, let's say, to be like, hey, if you want, you can go to the next floor and see the options they have up there. Right. So it's like a husband mall, if you will. And that's essentially what hypergamy is. And you go all the way up to a certain floor. At a certain floor, you're not going to have any other options. Yet they'll still sell you the same thing. And unfortunately, that's what feminism have become, unfortunately. And it's leading women the wrong way. It's just not tuning into your feminine divinity, unfortunately. But that's your choice. That's your choice. And hey, we respect your choice, but That is your choice. Certain choices have certain consequences. And that's what we started the show with, which is preferences. Thank you, Big Mike, right? It all comes down to preferences. And it's not any disrespect. It's just preferences are preferences. That's it.
Sure, for sure. So it's not only affecting them, man, it's affecting society, man. These things aren't just topics to just talk about. These things are showing real life and real numbers in society, such as marriage rate, birth rate. You see what I'm saying? All these things are down, man. Like, and when you go to the crux of it, it's because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing as men or as women. We all confused. You know what I'm saying? It's how we gonna live as a society if nobody's reproducing? Like, well, what you know what I'm saying? Nobody's getting married. Like, those institutions, those are what build communities and keep societies going. So now we're just gonna be running out here just lawlessly, just having children, no children at all, and then just a bunch of just wildness. Like, how we gonna what's it gonna look like in 20 years, man? Like, it's bug, man. So these things might look like they're just like individualized, or they just might be movements, but these things affect society, man. They affect everything.
Absolutely. And Claudia says that's the Obama and Michelle formula. And money ain't everything. Is that true, gentlemen?
Yeah, right. Don't have none. You'll find the answer.
That is fair. I mean, because at a certain level, there is, because women have their standards, right? So I think a certain income may be of some lady standard.
Well, I mean, in those cases too, man. So the women in those relationships, they started to, they started to start their own businesses off the guy's original stuff, right? So once they got to a certain level, I think that the money the guy was bringing in was no longer to keep him happy, because you only need so much money, right, in his life or whatever like that. So I feel like that, that's what happened. So I feel like they didn't have a foundation possibly that was set besides money or whatever. So then when the money started to become not equal, but at least she had enough for herself and knew she would get more, with divorcing these guys, then it's like, look, I mean, if you got $78 billion and I get $3 billion, I'm good for the next 20 years. You know what I'm saying? It's $3 billion. So I don't think they really. It's like, you know what I mean? I think that's a part of it or whatever. So.
Yeah. So, but that shows a bigger problem in society too, right? Because what chance do you have as a man? Think about it, right? So those guys are on the high end of the spectrum. They're billionaires or what. But you got an uncle, you got a cousin on the low end of the spectrum that went through the same thing, right? So we all men fall between that spectrum, the high end or the very low end. So at the end of the day, that could be any man. So there's a problem with the system. Obviously, there's something not right. We're not being told that if the man with the most money in the world, right, and all this can't somehow find it in his life to somehow satisfy a woman, like what are you gonna do? Like,
it's not satisfied though, right? It's because with Bill Gates, right, in particular, talk about that. He was taking romantic getaways with his ex-girlfriend, right? Or ex-wife or whatever. So obviously he still had a thing for her. But like Kevin Samuel says, right? High value men don't cheat, they exercise their options, right, Josh? Is that what he says? I think.
Absolutely.
Right. So, but he says they're allowed to exercise their options because they provide a certain lifestyle to the woman, right? But when they're at that level and she's making money already and going to get money from the divorce, she can now still maintain that lifestyle. So he no longer has that option like he used to have, because she's not losing anything by losing him. Like I said, if I got $5 billion of your 78, I'm still in a pretty high lifestyle or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's not really effective in that one.
But why do we look at the aspect of him losing something, right? Why couldn't? What if he just got tired of her? Like, you see what I'm saying?
I didn't say he lost anything. I didn't say that.
But I'm saying, but I mean, not you particularly, but like as a whole. Like when we read that meme or whatever, it
I
looks
think
like
he was still in love with the or not, whatever. He still wanted the ex, which is why he was sneaking around on romantic getaways, and he might be okay with the situation or whatever. I don't know.
No, he wasn't sneaking away. He had permission. He was he told her when he told her when he was going, and she knew what was going on. He ain't hide it from her.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what Kevin Samuels was talking about, that high value men exercise their options. That's not cheating in that sense. That's not cheating. You see what I'm saying? Because he just exercised options and his wife A-okayed it. So he's not a cheater. So that's the way. So he's operating from a position of power. And that's what they always say. Like, if you're operating with women, the best place to operate is from a position of power, because if you talk to these average women, no average woman is letting that go. Like I'm gonna go with my lady right now, my ex, I'm about to go on vacation with her like next week. You know what I'm saying? Why can't I get that off? Because I don't have enough power to get that off. You see what I'm saying? There's a certain level of power you gotta have, and it could go. But at the same time, we look at it as an aspect of somehow he messed up or whatever, or he's losing out. He could have just woke up one day like. He could have just woke up one day like, you know what, man, just take this money and get out of here. Like, get out of you. Like, just go. Yeah, so no, but that's how society looks at it. When you hear like,
I know.
Somebody's getting a divorce, be like, what did he do? Like, what you mean, what did he do? Maybe he just woke up and got tired. Maybe she didn't. You know what I'm saying? He just was like, that's it. But they say a lot of women, like they say about 70% of women get their wealth from divorce and alimony. So it's nothing new.
Absolutely. And P Work says he took those getaways every weekend. Melinda said nothing for 27 years. She knew. Absolutely. He gave her 25 million shares of Coca-Cola. He paid for it. He deserves to do whatever he wants. Absolutely. I don't care.
Ooh, so that'd be a good topic maybe next time you have the women on or something, to ask them, like, bring this up to them. You know what I'm saying? At what level or what number do they have? Because there's a number, bro. Everybody got a number. You know what I'm saying? That they'll let some slide. Like, I think women would let things slide like this if I'm not saying every woman, because obviously everything doesn't go across every genre, but I think the majority of women would probably let this slide too, if they well taken care of like this. You see what I'm saying? Because I think at some point, like Mike said, when you run in a business, they run in a business, I think some of the romance just burns out, and it's almost like it boils down to what the marriage really is like a business agreement right now. So for her to go or whatever is probably, this was probably the easiest, because they said they're gonna remain friends and still work together, which shows you what that romantic energy been burnt out. This been, you know what I'm saying, a long time ago. So I guess it's I don't know. Marriage is tough nowadays, man. Marriage is real tough nowadays, especially with social media. The world kind of seems smaller. Everybody, because people feel like they could just meet somebody in an instant now, and so this is crazy. A billionaire can't even keep his marriage together, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And P Work said he definitely paid her money. Absolutely. I mean, at that level, $5 billion. I mean, come on, that's a ton of money. And his kids only got $3 million each in their inheritance. And they donated those two together donated $1 billion every single year to charity. That's how much abundance they had. So it's just like,
wait, his kids got what? $3 million each.
Yes.
Where all the rest of the money gonna go then?
It's a wonderful question, Miguel.
Okay, never mind.
You might want to invest in some Microsoft, sir.
Yeah,
Right. And of course, any type of crypto. And
right.
Tony Stark Jr. is in the building. He definitely said that with a cowboy accent, obviously, with the cowboy hat. Marriage is tough, though, if you don't have the things in common, if you don't have chemistry, if you're not primarily on the same page.
I think even when you have all of that, I think I'm telling you, I'm telling you, marriage is the Bermuda Triangle of relationships, bro. I seen the best people, bro, get into marriages, and it's like, yo, they had an awesome girlfriend boyfriend relationship, got along, and something happened in that marriage, but it's like, hold up. I think the realization of your freedom is almost gone, right? So that same person that that was that you thought you knew is turns into a whole different beast because now it's like, now before we probably weren't going half on the bills. So now you find out that this person is irresponsible with money. Or you know what I'm saying? Or little things go on in the marriage. And one of the problems that we kind of have too is that as men we don't wait. Like so sometimes we fall under the time trap, and we think we gotta move as fast as a woman moves because sometimes we're not gonna be able to have babies or something, but that's not the case, right? We find that out later in life. So we get married early, but then you don't find yourself till you like 35, 36, 37, and now you find your purpose. But now it's like, now you got a balance to do my purpose or my calling in life or my wife. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, and like you said, if you don't have somebody that's with your purpose, then it's just gonna go left, man. And that's what make these marriages hard. I don't know what it is, man. I can't pinpoint it, and obviously 50 to 75% of Americans can't pinpoint it either because that's the divorce rate, right? So there's something that happens when that turnover happens from just regular boyfriend and girlfriend, even if they were cohabitating. Once they say I do and the paper comes involved, it's almost like a curse, man, in a way, in many situations. And even if it's not a curse to where they divorce, marriage is one of the toughest things, and anybody will tell you that, because it's one of the toughest things to do, because it's like you're an individual, but now you got to mesh with another individual. It gets tough, man. It gets tough. Decision making, rearing kids, paying bills, this, that, and the third, and you got all your other problems on top of that, and then you got communication issues and double standards. This is a big problem.
Absolutely. And P Work says the divorce could be a tactic for tax purposes. Absolutely. Thank you, Brother P, with the financial background, sir. Thank you, sir. He also says you don't need a marriage for that. A baby can change that for the average person. 1000%. Congratulations, by the way. Makia says, I don't think women would be able to answer honestly how they would handle a situation like the Gates relationship until they actually in it. That is completely fair, because that type of lifestyle is unfortunately incomparable for the, let's say, 90% of the world, unfortunately, at minimum. And that's being conservative, to spare some feelings there, because some people are upset with reality, and that's fair, but it's reality nonetheless. I would say observe it, learn from it, and then adjust. So Tony Stark Jr. says, so here's what happens. When you get married, it's an extra sense of entitlement. That's a fair point. We've talked about that a lot on this show. The things that bothered you will bother you more once you're married. 1000%. Jared always says marriage is a magnifier for whatever issues already exist. So that's a brilliant point. However, if you have all those things lined up, you will be in good hands. Being married is a mindset.
It's deep. That's deep.
Absolutely. And speaking of a deep mindset, let's talk about what we're going to give to the young gentlemen today, the gems that they need for the ladies.
If she ain't laying you or paying you, she's playing you.
Bars. 29 says being married is also a legal process, hence the taxes. Absolutely. Don't forget, it is a merger. It's a merger of a corporation, which is why a corporation can be viewed as an individual, hence an LLC, something like that.
Nice.
Makia says, in any relationship, marriage, you have to compromise and you have to evolve because people change. True. And I guess it depends how those people change, together, and how they collaborate with those changes. which could be great, but that may, you know, it may result in them not being together if that's the case, you know, because you never know. 29 also says, also a foundation for the familiar structure as alluded to, 1000%. Tony Stark Jr. says, I think getting laid or I'm out, period.
Okay.
Yad man Tony Wagwan.
But that's why OnlyFans is so crazy, right? Think about paying for something you never even seen, touched, or talked to, bro. That is a wild concept. As a man, you got to be a sick puppy, man. I don't care, man. I'm passing judgment. For you to send money over to, oh man, that's why we losing out here as men. Women see that, and that's why they treat. That's why you like a lot of the topic tonight was like
they
making
don't
correction.
see it, but they don't see it now. They've seen it for centuries. Sex sells. It's the oldest American business. There was brothels back in ancient times. Like sex is always sold, and we have always had the same mindset to go purchase this sex, whether it's sex or just viewing a woman taking her top off. And I mean, since the 13th, 14th century or whatever like that. And it's like the most recession proof business is sex. Now it's just OnlyFans, but it's the same thing or whatever. Just in a different package. I'm telling you, it is what it is.
But what I'm saying is it's different now, right? Because a brothel, remember, the guys used to go to the brothel and they would still go to the brothel from a position of power. They were still like men, right? But now these guys are like entering the female atmosphere and we're like tiptoeing like little, like can I see your feet, like, you see what I'm saying? Like we still, you're not even,
it was like that back then. They were still paying to see, and I mean, yes, there were brothels, but there were still some women charging just to see a body part or whatever. It's just a different time, but it's in a different package. Now it's just you do it from comfort of your own home, stuff like that.
right? It's just on the, you're right, it's just on the internet now.
Correct.
But at the same time, the difference is though, right? So one of the major differences now, right? There used to be specific girls for the brothel, but now you're seeing that brothel was like the majority now, where the brothel was like, see, because that also goes to another point. There was a time when women used to check other women. Like if you worked at the brothel, everybody knew you was at the brothel, but that's where you lived. Those women also lived at the brothel. It wasn't like they was coming back and being members of the society and still like, you know what I'm saying, being a waitress at the restaurant. No, she was for the brothel. She for the streets. She for the brothel. That's it. But now what's happening is we having problems as men because we don't know who's from the brothel and who's not. You see what I'm saying? Because the brothel has just busted loose now and it's just a societal norm now. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying. Sex always has soul, but it has never sold at this volume before in the history of like, I don't think it has sold at this level before, man. This is outrageous. When a woman could upload a picture of herself, a bad Barbie, and make $1 million in like 8 hours, bro. Come on.
I mean, the economy's different though, but I'm telling you though, in the during the Great Depression in the 30s, people, we're still seeing prostitutes. I'm telling you, like it's a recession-proof business.
I get what you're saying. Seen it for a purpose, but now we just want to. Now we just feel like we just gotta be around it. Like we'll do anything to be. It almost look desperate now. Is what I'm basically trying to get at. It has an air of desperation.
To your point, there was normally a woman who ran the brothel, but a man who owned the business. Right? There was normally like a pimp. Right? To what you're saying. There was normally a man who was kind of running this stuff. Now women are doing things on their own. They're like, I'm gonna go to my living room, I'm gonna play with my feet, and I'm gonna sell this stuff. Whatever you want to say, blah, 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 blah. So I think the only difference is that kind of the women are doing it on their own, but also your point is that women are more acceptance of other women doing it. Like, get your money, girl. Rather than before, it might have been more like looked down upon. Like, yo, don't, like she's a whatever. Like, I don't know why y'all mess with her. So I agree with that.
That wasn't even that far back then when I was growing up.
I
was growing up, the whole of the class, the class, whatever your whole class was, she was isolated. Like she was looked at by, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, she's a hoe. But now the that same hoe that they used to like whatever.
Celebrated.
But we never used to give them that title. The other women used to give them that title. We never
Correct.
used to. The other women gave them titles as hoes or whatever the case is, right? So
Yes.
so now we have an era of it's just lawlessness, man, and it's just running wild right now because now it's like that's empowerment now. Hoeing before was shame, they got shamed, but now it's empowering. They even have slut walks, like what? I would never imagine they hear women call themselves sluts, bro. Of all my life, that's why I'm kind of bugged out now because I'm an 80s baby, so I still got that generation right before it turned over. You see what I'm saying? I still remember like women naturally, bamboo earrings, jellies on their feet, still looking feminine and sweet. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time,
they have devalued sex and nudity, right?
That's it.
Just by social media in itself, right? Because you can go on social media and look at ass right now at this moment,
right
or
now.
whatever. You know what I mean? Where before you had to like actually work to see a body part, right? So it's been devalued in a lot of sense.
Yes, sure.
Absolutely. And Tony Stark Jr. says OnlyFans is new school stuff. I don't know anything about it. Mr. I'm on the precipice of all the new technology. You don't know OnlyFans. Come on. Mike, how much does it cost?
He also don't have Zelle or Cash App either. But that's the story.
Yeah, like come on.
Give me his name again. I'm gonna look him up on for my OnlyFans. I'm gonna see if I can follow him because I got that OnlyFans account, bro. I like to see toenails. Show me nothing. I'm paying for toenails.
Well, that's probably the lowest form. I agree. No, seriously, of the male trying to get stimulated by women because on the OnlyFans account, you don't even know what you're signing up for. Like the woman who've been finessing guys, like showing like nothing, but they sign up for it or whatever like that. So these guys are at the lowest totem pole. They're paying for nothing even. So I agree with you. I'm just saying, like at least when you bought like a Playboy magazine, you saw the cover, like you knew what you were getting. Right. Now it's like sign up for my OnlyFans, and the girl's like, "Yeah, I'm in a whole fucking polo shirt and a hat." You don't know what you know what I mean? It's a little different now.
It's great, man.
Yeah, desperation is much to the higher level than it used to be.
Absolutely. So the first question we actually have from our social media is. Oh, this is a good one. I am stuck on this one girl I really like. Things aren't progressing. What do I do?
Ignore her.
I was gonna say the same thing. Fall back.
Block her on everything, including the email, and then turn it on in a week.
I don't know if she'll use email, but I would definitely I would fall back or whatever like that. I will make her start coming after me. I would kind of flip it a little bit. Like she knows you stuck on her, so obviously you've been doing things over and over again to try to get the attention and stuff like that. You gotta because now here's what happen when you fall back. She's gonna start saying like, "What happened to him?" Like. Don't give me attention no more. That's gonna come to you. It says everything all right, blah blah blah. So yes, I mean we're saying the same thing, but I would definitely say go the other way with it.
Absolutely, because at this moment he would be in the friend zone, and then
correct. This is sink or swim, baby. You're treading water. Step it up. What do you got?
Correct. You gotta make a drastic move. Just stop right now.
Drastic move.
He does.
Nah, real talk. Cold turkey. Go cold turkey. It's gonna be hard, especially because again, man. Because men, man, we really be liking these girls, bro. Like we really be liking them. Like we like hard, bro. And real talk. So it's kind of hard for us just to, especially if we like them. Like, oh man, but you have to do it. You're just gonna lose total control.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in the manosphere, this is called one-itis. That's when you get stuck on one girl and you giving, all of your time and attention and essentially non-sexual energy because you are in the friend zone at that point. At this point, she would already know if she was interested or not. So you better off giving that time of attention. As Dr. Patrice O'Neill, our RP would say, don't let her make you into her time hoe where she just waste your time whenever she wants. Don't that's never going to work.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. Tom Hall, emotional sponge, all the same thing, man. And those all end up with you in the friend zone. That's your reward. You don't, and you think, because if you don't do it, what he thinks is gonna happen is not gonna happen for him. So what he needs to happen for him is he has to reverse what's going on, because he's going down the path of whatever he's in his head. If he wanted to kiss or whatever, he's not getting anything going down this path. And the only way to correct it is to like Mike said, you just gotta take drastic actions and cut it immediately. Hopefully she comes back, because you know what I'm saying?
She will, because she's used to the pattern of his attention. So if it's no longer there, she's going to start craving it and looking for where it's at. So she's going to come back because she's not getting what she used to getting from him.
True, but even though I give that suggestion, you know what changed that part of the game? You know how they kind of reversed that part of the game? Social media, right? So if it's only attention, women can get attention, bro. Social media, it's filled with attention, right? So
yeah, but if it's more than, I mean, I don't know the story, but if he's seeing her in person, he's probably doing things, little gestures. He's probably constantly, you know what I mean, asking her about her day or whatever, you know what I mean, doing a lot of different things. I feel like. So I feel like that if he falls back, she's gonna look for those same things she's used to get. And then the second level would be if he starts dealing with somebody else. Because then she's gonna start to get a little jealous of him because she's not getting the attention she was used to getting and stuff like that.
Listen, you always gotta have that air competition, even if you don't.
Correct.
Always have that air competition, man. Because if they feel like, man, don't nobody else like you, they're gonna dog you out, boy.
Yeah, he's at this point. You got to know, like, you got to know what's happening, and if you really want to try to get her, you got to just fall back. Because listen, it can't hurt. She ain't getting her anyway. So might as well do something the opposite way. That's how I look at
it. But some women, right? They play hard to get. Could it be that that maybe she got old school values, or you know what I'm saying? Because some women, I don't know, but like back in the day, that used to be kind of cool from my aspect, the little work angle, right? The little trying to get something from scratch. Like I
mean, it's cool in the beginning, but like he said, I've been trying to can't get nowhere. The guy said, and my whole thing is play hard to get, don't get got. You know what I mean? I can't be playing this game with you and stuff like that, or whatever. You know what I mean?
After time, you gotta let me in after I done did all of this too. So now it just looks like I'm working. You know what I'm saying? It turns into a job.
Will put you, like you said a couple times tonight, in that friend zone. We all know the friend zone like the mafia. Once you get in, ain't no getting out. Whatever.
Yeesh.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, man, real.
Yeah, so you definitely want to heed that advice. Thank you, gentlemen, for that.
What else you guys ask?
And the next question is, I really want my girlfriend to wear lingerie or something sexy to bed like she did when we first started talking. How can I get her to do that naturally?
Take her to go buy it. Once you take her to go buy it, right? Once you take her to go buy it, then you kind of have a little leeway to say, hey, listen, when you gonna wear that lingerie we bought? You see what I'm saying? You gotta kind of squeeze it in that way, right? So that's how I would do it. I'd take her to go buy it, and so it looks like I'm interested as well. Like have her, I don't know about this whole COVID thing in the mall and all that, but have her try it on and all that, and you pick, yeah, baby, I like that one and that one, and then while you shopping with her at the mall, you hitting her with, yeah, damn, baby, I love when you wear this. I love to see this purple one on this Saturday night. You know, just you start putting it in her head like that, and if she don't get it at that point, then if that's something you like, you can't give up something you like because she don't want to do it.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, well, first of all, I mean, not to bed or to sleep or whatever like that, because I feel like that, you know, like women don't actually sleep in lingerie, right? But he's just saying that he want her to wear it sometimes. I would say, like you saying, drop subliminals as well. But also, I would just say, like, I would just buy it or whatever like that, like, and be like, yo, try this on for me. You know what I mean? I'll be even more aggressive with it. Or like you said, you know, take it to the store. But I would just kind of like, listen, man, listen, if you come home like with it, or whatever. Like, look, man, I bought this for you. I want to see you in it, and talk like a man and approach it like that, or she gonna put it on. Trust me, or whatever like that.
Correct.
I don't know what that guy's doing. I don't know if he's like asking her, baby, will you please wear this for me sometime, or whatever. I don't know, but
She don't
I'm
respect
telling you,
him.
correct or whatever. So if you just get it or whatever, she will definitely wear it. The other end, just drop the subliminals, let her know like this is what you're looking for. Like you can't say nothing and then be like, yo, why she stopped doing it? She stopped doing it because you stopped talking about it. So that's what normally happens. So
True. So I guess that goes to all the communication and all that too. You know what I'm saying? Like you always say, Mike, like you gotta check it in the beginning, or you know what I'm saying? KG always says that, gotta nip it in the bud. That's it. So we know how it go already. But yeah, it's a good approach.
And Makia says attention doesn't matter if it's not coming from the right person. 1000%.
True. That's why those dudes never get a reply back in the comments on the IG. You ever look in the IG when dudes be like, "Ooh, this and that"? Do you ever see a reply from them? Nah, because it's for the free attention, and you're not the man she wanted it from. So she's not replying to you. So she just used you to get through those little days where the real man she wants is at work or whatever. She'll use that little Instagram for the attention, but the man she really want, that's where she want the attention. And that's who she gonna wear the lingerie for.
True.
Right. So moral of the story is be that guy. But all right, guys, we're gonna cut it here. It's getting late. I appreciate everyone for
man.
So Makia and Tony Stark Jr. and Claude Diz, of course, and Cheese and Ariella and P Work and 29ish and KG for being on as well. So thank you both, Lou and Big Mike. Appreciate y'all.
A lot of fun
Time
as always.
flies when you're having fun, baby. Thanks for having me again, baby.
All right,
Big
man.
Mike, peace out, brother.
You too, homie. I'll let you, bro.
All right, bro. Josh.
All right, peace.
Yes, sir.
And this is just a promo for KG because he is an amazing trainer and you guys should probably work out with him, and we're going to show you why.
You got this. Come on.
When training, we have to make sure that we connect the muscle to the movement. Any exercise that you're doing, whether you're doing back, for instance, in deadlift, make sure that you're focused on using the right muscles. That way you're building those muscles consciously. You're not just trying to pick the weight up. That's how injuries happen. Take your time, get set, focus, and connect. The point of this is not to think of the end result. The point of it is to get through the journey. Like, it's the work that we're going to get into. So we're not doing it, and every time we finish a set, we look at our traps or we look at our muscles and be like, oh, look at my chest. That's not the point of it. Oh, look at me. That's not the point of it. The point of it is to know that this workout builds the next workout and builds the next workout. You want to have goals. You got to set the goals. You got to know what you want. And if you want to achieve those goals, you got to be consistent. Always be consistent. This one builds the next one, builds the next one, builds the next one. It's not going to happen in 6 months. This ain't an 8-minute quick abs. This is the difference between success and failure. This isn't, I'm not trying to get your money. Give me $100,000 and I'll train you and give you the body you want. And then what? This is about a lifestyle. So if you want to get the goals that you want, change your lifestyle. Y'all gonna notice y'all getting your cardio in too. Let me know when y'all start breathing heavy. Let's go. 25. We almost done. Nah. Let's go. Keep working. 3, 2, 1. Stop. There we go.
Nice.
Absolutely. So only contact him when you're serious. Go ahead.
Quick story. So KG helped me move into my house, right?
Word.
And this is when I realized that KG is probably in the top three, if not the top two strongest people I know in my life, bro. Like we had a dresser, like the drawers couldn't come out. It's made of chest, like some oak, some heaviness. This dude threw this joint on his back, bro, and went up the steps with it. I looked at him, I say, yo, KG's one of the strongest people I know, bro. Facts. For his size and the way you wouldn't think he could lift the things he could lift, be like, and when he threw that on his back, I said, yo, so that was even before he started the workout campaign. So this was before this. So when I started seeing those videos, I said, I wasn't even surprised, bro. I was just like, yo, what I thought before was real. I'm telling you, if you see this dresser, bro, and the way he just threw it right on his back. I tried to help him. He was like, yo, move, yo, watch out. Just threw it right on his back and went right up the steps with it like it was nothing, like it was a side table. I said, nah, KG for real, bro. So make sure y'all check KG out. He'll get you right. Real.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lew, for that. You spit facts, bro. And KG is the one training me and Chloe. So, you know,
okay.
That's definitely a fun thing. And you have the group sessions as well available. So if you're an executive team, right, you might want to have a great relationship with a trainer who also can talk to you about nutrition as well. You know, you never know.
For real, man. I big up all you brothers, man. What y'all doing, man? You with your show, man. KG with the workout, and then like you said, y'all just put it two together. Now you promoting his thing. You see what I'm saying, man? Man, this is a beautiful thing. Life is beautiful, bro. When things work together in balance and harmony, not just men and women, but men and men too. You know what I'm saying? When we work towards things or whatever the case is, if we have goals or whatever, those things, the energies when they balance out, man, so many things can get accomplished. Because that's dope, man. Like I said, I love seeing your movement. I love seeing KG movement. I love seeing all the other brothers movement, man. That's what it's about, bro.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you for saying that, Brother Lew, but also, you know, not only observing it, but acknowledging it, because a lot of people will observe things like that, but not even acknowledge it. You know, and this is like, you know, it's like giving out positivity, because if you see something dope, especially as an artist yourself, I know you understand this, you're going to go out of your way to say something positive about that creation that you respect. It's just, I just call it, you know, part of being a human, but that's just me.
It's dope, but you gotta remember, a lot of people got like, I see it all the time. Like you said, as an artist, you're an artist. As artists, we see so many talented people, right? And we like, damn, you could be doing this, but they're not really. You think they not living up to their potential. Maybe they think they are, whatever. But you see so much more in them. So when you see somebody, like I said, you guys actually put that hustle or the muscle to the hustle, it gives a different inspiration, bro. Because like I said, you the reason I started making YouTube videos and all that, and IG videos, because not necessarily IG videos, but like my YouTube videos, because I thought it was this big like NBC, CBS type of platform. You have to have a dude with a reel, and then they switch it from camera 1 to camera 2, and da 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 da. And then I see you come up and you like, yo, bro, I got a mic and a topic, and we gonna make this rock. I'm gonna make my joint look dope. I'm gonna, and it's not no CBS $1 million. And you know what? I watch your joint faster than I watch any of them other shows. Come on, you see what I'm saying? Because it's pure, it's authentic, and it's raw. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beauty in it, man. And you can't take that away, man. So you guys gave me that inspiration, and once I saw that, I was like, all right. Not that I'm like, oh, it's easy, but it was more like it could be done. Like my brother is doing it, and this is somebody, not only my brother's doing it, but this is somebody I talked to that gave me advice that I could speak out and reach to. I was like, nah, I gotta get on my thing too, man. So I like to thank you for that inspiration and that motivation all the way through 2020 up to now. And even before that, when you gave me the idea for the shirts, and see, just like you see, I got the shirt right there on the wall. I got the painting right there, but then I got the shirt on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There it is.
But bruh, if I didn't meet you at KG, you know what I'm saying? And then you put me on to that, like, yo, bro, why don't you, every time you make a shirt, make a painting? And sure enough, bro, you the reason I got all these paintings, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, okay.
Got all these paintings on the wall, bro. You the reason. You know what I'm saying? Because every time I made a shirt, I made sure I'm like, oh, your voice was in the back of my head, like, yo, make sure you get that painting for it, like Josh. You know what I'm saying? So, man, you guys is all inspiration, man. All inspirational, man. Definitely want y'all to take time to big up yourselves, bro. And if you're not, then I'll big y'all up for sure, because y'all doing some incredible stuff, bro.
We appreciate you, brother Lew. Also, the link in the description to his artwork is in the description, so check that out.
For sure.
All right, guys, gonna sign off here. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Sure, they got me brainless, and I don't understand it. Hey, I don't know. Yeah.
People already eavesdrop if you're out here having dope ass conversations while you're lit. It's like, why not? Why not put it into a podcast? He makes podcasts. He's here outside of the city. Pick his brain. I'ma just be here.
You're so silly, Josh. I forgot to laugh. Wow.